here. It's big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello everyone, welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hanson, I'm here with Dave Tuckman. It's Friday, that means 10-20, no limit hold'em, Dave.
Double fist night, and it's clearly a striped shirt night, huh?
Yeah, we both got kind of sporting the new shirts, new logos and such. So let's head over to the table and let's get started here.
Logos. Your shirt has a logo?
What?
No logo?
Wardrobes.
Oh, wardrobes.
Logos.
Seat number 1, we're going to have Trish in the game. Seat number 2, we've got George Giorgio, the Greek poker god. Seat number 5, we've got That's Allen. Sporting the, talk about that Miami Vice GQ look. I tell you, if anybody can pull it off, it's Allen. Seat number 6, we've got Paul. I want to thank Paul for being on the show last week. If you missed that, that was really exciting. We had Paul in here doing a little guest commentary. Always interesting. Seat number 7, we've got Barry. Don't call me Greenstein Woods. Seat number 8, we've got Action Mo. And seat number 9, we've got none other than Kirk. K-I-R-K. Kirk. Seat number 4, Wilby Corporation Mike. He and his mother are tending to some business on the other side of the casino, but will be here momentarily. It promises to be a pretty exciting game. Got some of the usual suspects in this game. Apparently Amir was going to play. I'm not sure what happened to him, though.
Well, so of course this game is 10-20 no limit hold'em, Dave. The brown chips are $10 chips, the whites are hundreds.
And you gotta love this. I tell you, double fist night Friday. I look forward to this all week long.
Okay. I'll give more analysis.
Kind of slow this out here.
Dave, we're actually going to do the couple of hands here tonight to start off the night a little bit in the dark.
Are we?
We're not going to see the hands right now. A couple in the dark. Tonight's show, the first half an hour will be free, and the remaining portion of the show will be only open to archive subscribers, as usual.
Right.
If you want to email us, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. You can also follow a live thread started on the internet by going to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, and other televised events.
Right.
Official Live at the Bike thread.
We did another video blog today.
Yes, we did.
Really interesting. We had 2 very interesting hands. After our show is over, you can check that out on the left-hand side of the screen. You can click on video blog. And the video blog is where you and I dissect everybody else's hands.
Yeah.
You know, we analyze them. We do our own hands. We do their hands. Really kind of an exciting feature. I'm really excited about it because I think it gives our viewers a chance to kind of, that hand that's been driving them crazy, it gives us a chance to analyze it for them.
And we got the cards
as best
back
we can.
up, so that's great. And look at this, action seat number 3. That is a player that I've played with before. I don't quite know his name, but he has a lot of action.
Well, will he be action in this game?
Yeah.
You wonder, is he making a step up? I've never seen him play this high. Normally he plays in the 3 to 5 game or the 500 game, right?
Yeah. Now, seat number 5, we need to see Allen's hand. We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And we need to see seat 3's hand as well. So we
gentlemen do not know that they are on TV yet.
Yeah. Yeah, because Donna usually makes that announcement. Of course, we do not have the Donna in the house right now.
We've got a lovely Rosio.
Yep.
Doing the work for us tonight. Barry's going to take this down with King High. Well, there's a bet there. I'm not sure exactly what he had, but we'll kind of start it off right now.
Yeah.
And Rosio's going to help us out all night. She's going to let all the players know to put the cards in their cam so we can see them.
The
button moves over to seat 2.
George Giorgio.
That's Barry's seat, and he's letting someone play over Barry. You can't move Barry if Barry's letting someone play over him. You follow what I mean?
که من تو تلفنم هستش الان تلفن که با صحبت میکنم توی این تلفنم باید تو از
Buttons here in George Giorgio's hand in seat number 2.
بعد بزنم اوکی
EV, we're getting word they're going to chop this one up. Yeah, so a couple of interesting hands that we did in the video blog, Dave.
Really interesting. Both hands actually kind of a theme of value betting. And, you know, it's interesting where I'm always a big believer in value betting. Obviously, anybody that knows, familiar with my style, knows that I'm always going to be betting that river.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away any free information. I want somebody to know when I'm betting the river, I could be betting not necessarily a monster or a bluff, but I could also be betting my marginal hands.
Yep.
That way you're not giving away too much information at all. Get a new player in seat number 7.
And is that Mo? That is the other
Maurice.
Mo. Yeah, Maurice.
That is Maurice.
He used to kind of be, you know, one of the weaker players in the game, but he's really improved his game over the last few months.
He really has.
Yeah.
And what exactly happened to Barry Woods?
Oh, Barry Woods is actually, he's going to a dinner. He's going to be gone from the game for the first half an hour, Dave.
Really?
Yep. He's going to, like, kind of a casino dinner.
A casino dinner?
Well, I'll get to that in a second here. Paul bet here with a pair of 8s. Limped around pre-flop. Alan's got the nut flush draw here. And Paul's going to win it here with a pair of 8s.
Yep. Obviously, the 7 of clubs on the river does not complete Allen's flush.
Yep.
You know, I'm gonna propose something. We used to do this when I was in 4th grade, and I'm gonna start it here. Let's do a do-over.
A do-over?
A do-over. Let's act like we're starting the show right now.
Okay.
Here it is. Hi, guys. Welcome to Live the Bike. It's Double Fist Friday, and we are here to bring you some exciting Friday night action. We've got 10-20 blinds. Corporation Mike is in the game. Trish is in the game. We've got Alan in the game. We've got Mo. We've got Maurice. Promises to be great action. Stick with us. Here it is. Let's get to the game.
All right. Brown chips are $10 chips. Whites are hundreds.
All right. There's seat number 2. That's George Giorgio. Seat number 3, we're going
EV.
to call him EV.
Yeah.
Seat number 4 is going to be Corporation Mike. Seat number 5 is Alan. Seat 6 is Paul. Seat 7, Maurice.
Yeah.
Seat 8, Mo. And seat 9,
Look
Cook.
at the flop here for George. He's flopped a straight with an open-ended straight flush draw, and he bets it. 9-8-6 with a couple of clubs. What a monster flop for George.
Now, does anybody really have anything to get involved, though, with him?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like EV folded the King 8 there, which is, again, he really plays loose at the lower levels. He's probably going to tighten up a bit here tonight.
Well, we see that oftentimes. We see players playing at one style at one level, and then a completely different style in a different game.
Yep.
Check once. I might have caught a real bad card.
And
I used to love that, actually. That's my favorite thing, though, when you're like in 4th grade. Do-over!
Yeah, Barry Woods is actually, he's been invited kind of to casinos buying certain people dinners and trying to express, so that they can express their concerns about how to make the casino better. The regular
Oh, really?
customers, yeah. And that is where he's going to be.
We're doing a little kiss-assing?
No, I just think it's, you know, I mean, Joe Wynn talked about it. You know, it's just a thing where, you know, they get to express their concerns.
Oh, that's great.
You know, make the casino a better place to play in.
So is he eating dinner with, say, like Rick Cloward?
Yeah, possibly, something like that.
Or Hashem?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Wow. 30 minutes, that's all he's got?
He
quick
said it would
dinner.
take about a half an hour. Trish is over there in seat 1.
Well, that's great. I mean, obviously, our casino is on the cutting edge of trying to make it customer service oriented.
Because I don't think that Barry Woods is actually in seat 4. I think that's Corporation Mike.
It
Those
is.
are Corporation Mike's chips, so
Yeah.
we might not see Barry. And there's
Well,
Corporation
Barry's
Mike.
actually, you see the box over Barry's chips in seat 7. Those are Barry's chips.
Now look at this. Mo in seat 8. He's got the second nut flush draw here. Ace 3-5. It was limped around. And he's going to bet. And that's probably going to do it here, Dave.
Yeah, I imagine it will.
Yep.
If you want to email us, we like to keep the show as interactive as possible. I know I do. Please email us at live@thebike.com. You have any questions, concerns,
Yep.
anything. You want to just say hi, you have some sort of problem with your sex life, feel free, email me and Bart, and we'll address it. You can also follow us on a live thread. Go to 2plus2.com.
No, that is an answer, my friend. 'Cause you're doing
And
Anybody want to post up on the 2+2 board? Looks like there's a little bit of confusion about some people getting the rerun now in the beginning of the show. They just, if you can just tell them to refresh the show. We are doing 10-20 no limit tonight.
Don't figure that out then.
well,
So just
unfortunately,
reload the show.
anybody that's watching the rerun won't hear us say that.
Yeah.
Kind of goes catch-22 there.
Anita,
But maybe somebody on 2+2 is here listening to
That's
it to
what I'm
tell
saying,
them
yeah.
to refresh it.
They
Good
can see
idea.
that, yeah.
wait a second, you didn't raise?
Limped around here.
Now, you can always count on Kev Math over on 2+2. He's
Yeah.
figured it out.
Yep. Four-way action. Looks like Mike has got a weak ace over there in seat 4.
Well,
10-10-8 here. I believe Mike has got ace-8 here.
yeah, but seat number 7, Maurice, has got 10-4. He's got trip 10.
Yeah, he likes to play any 2 cards. That's the thing. And I bet you he's going to... No, he just calls Mike. Mike comes out and bets, and Maurice just calls. So here we go to the turn. Wow, the turn is an 8.
Well, that doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it
though.
doesn't change much, and Mike's going to bet 200 now.
And Mike's not stupid. He knows that. If the guy called me with an 8, okay, well, now we're going to chop it up, and that kills my hand because I have the ace kicker.
And Maurice just calls again, so we've got a $600 pot here. Here we go to the river, and Mike's got to smell that something's up here. Oh, wow,
man.
and the river is an ace, so Mike beats any other 8 there. No, actually,
he doesn't.
No,
He
he
beats
doesn't.
nothing.
The ace does not change anything.
It's actually, if you want to go really for the turn really doesn't change anything,
Yeah.
and the river really doesn't change anything, because if the guy had you beat, unless he had pocket jacks or queens or kings or something like that, which Maurice certainly didn't play that way. Remember, it was limped around in the cutoff seat. He either has a 10 or he has nothing.
Now, Mike checks, Maurice bets 400, and Maurice is going to take it down here with the full house 10s full. He's going to win a nice little pot right here right off the bat.
I mean, it made Mike's hand look better, but you've got to realize that your hand didn't get any better. It's
Yeah.
one of those times where, I'll give you an example. Let's say the flop were to come out 9-9-5, and
Yeah.
you have 5-4.
Yeah.
And the turn is a 4. Doesn't change your hand at all. Does nothing to your hand. And that's almost the same exact thing in that case. Nice shot of Trish there. We like to call her Corporation Mom.
Yeah. Button's going to move over here to seat 9.
I'm a big fan of her game.
Limped around here.
Moral to the story, boys. This is a moral to the story.
And then George has got 8-9 suited. He's going to check it here out of the big blind here, it looks like. Well, actually, let's see here. Yep, checked around, limped around. So here we go.
7 ways.
7-way action. So it's a $140 pot. Here we go to the flop.
Some interesting hands out there.
Ace, Jack, Jack here. Well, it looks like Mo's got the best hand here over here in seat 8 with Ace 10 of clubs. He is in position.
Yeah, he's obviously going to put a little money in there and see where he's at. Kind of define his hand a little bit.
Checked over to Mike. He checks. Paul is going to check 9s. And
Sure
Mo's,
enough,
yeah, Mo's going to bet 100 here.
why not? He bets $100 into a $140 pot, but that's a big enough bet to define his hand. And in all likelihood, nobody will call this. You never know. Sometimes Mike will make a play on it, but I don't think so. He's going this case.
One hand you lose, complain. Why you call this?
Don't really know what George is thinking about here with 8-9 suited.
Listen to him. Lay your hand. No matter what, he's gonna nag. Your money is a lot. Okay, don't worry. Let him tell. Okay. It doesn't affect me. I don't get hurt at all. Okay, see, 100.
And Mo's going to take it down there.
Take it down, Mr. Brown.
If I give it $100.
Once again, we're live at the bike. This is Friday night, July 14th. I'm David Zuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching 1020 blinds, no limit hold'em. This is a $1,000 minimum buy-in, but most players have a lot more than that. We probably have close to $24,000, $25,000 on the table.
Now Mike is going to straddle here, as always, out of seat 4. Dave, I'm going to be right off to Vegas tomorrow morning.
I'm psyched for you, man. I'm telling
Flying
you.
in for the 3,000 event.
And in all likelihood, you will not be here for Monday's show.
Yeah, because I'll be at the final table.
Right. Power of positive thinking.
Trish is over here on the button, and she's going to raise it up here to 140. She's going to raise her son's straddle. She's got ace-queen, and Mike has got 5-6 of spades. We need to see seat 3's cards. He's in the hand. Seat 3 has called. Mike has also called with 5-6 of spades. So EV has called here with Jack 9 of hearts. And Trish here, he's got top pair, ace 4-4 on the flop. Probably about $360.
If there's one player at this table that's not scared of Mike, it's Trish. She doesn't care.
And she's going to bet 200, and that's going to get it done, I'm sure.
She takes it
I'm
down.
not in the hand. If I was in the hand, I really would pick up the call.
Yeah. Mike did say he had a pretty hand. Button's going to move over here to 2. Seat 2, George Giorgio. And Corporation Mike's going to be in the big blind. Allen is under the gun.
4-4 or Jack. Believe me.
It's going to be fun to see EV in seat 3 play and Maurice in seat 7 play a couple of new faces.
Let's give him Jack. That'll really
That's
give him
out of
something.
casino. Out
Out
of
of
property.
casino.
He's out of casino.
So George is over here on the button. And Maurice has got pocket tens, and he's going to open raise here with pocket tens. Now EV has got a queen 9. He's going to make the call in the small blind. And Mike has got king 3 offsuit. He's going to fold. We are heads up here. Queen 9 against pocket 10. It's about a $300 pop. Maurice, the pre-flop raiser here, over in seat 7. Here we go to the flop. Well, all hearts on the flop. Now, Maurice does not have the 10 of hearts in his hand. EV's got queen 9 with the 9 of hearts. And Maurice is going to throw a little half pot size continuation bet out here. And look at this. EV is going to call with the 9 of hearts. He made the call with the 9 of hearts. The pot is quickly $600. Well, the turns of 4. Tens are still good. And now it looks like EV is going to come out and lead. He's going to bet 150 into a pot that is about, I want to say 400. So kind of a little stoppish bet here.
Oh, you guys analyzing.
And what is Maurice going to do here with pocket 10s without the 10 of hearts?
It keeps you busy and kill the time, yeah.
So Maurice, EV check called the flop, which is the 9 of hearts draw, and now he's led into the turn for about a 1/3 pot size bet.
Well, that's always an interesting bet, you know, when you get the check call and then lead out. It almost calls like a weak jack, like you don't want to give the free card there.
And Maurice calls, and this pot is quickly $700. Here we go to the
How does
river.
Maurice call that?
And the river is a heart, but again, EV doesn't even know if he's good with the 9 of hearts, but he's going to bet again. He's going to move all in with the 9 of hearts. Wow. And Maurice can only beat a bluff here. Let's see how much it is.
You know what doesn't make any sense, though, is how does Maurice call the bet on the turn?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, the guy check calls you on the flop and then leads into you. I mean, I guess there's two ways you could have it. He could be pricing himself with the ace of hearts or the king of hearts, or he could have a weak jack and doesn't want to give you the free card. I guess there's two different
And look
ways.
at this, a $470 bet, and Maurice doesn't buy it. He makes the call, and EV is going to take down a pot of about $1,500 with the 9 high, the 9 high flush there.
Yeah, and you know what, I got to tell you, Maurice's game has really improved a lot over the last 6 months. But I got to tell you, that was a mistake. Now, the smooth call on the turn, you can always make the argument, well, this guy, maybe it's a blocker bet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of one of those, I've got the ace of hearts and I'm going to try to name my price. But when the river comes out the queen of hearts, now there's nothing you can beat. Because you can't beat the jack and you can't beat the heart. What do you think this guy was betting?
Yep.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Mike, you know, everybody's happy. You're winning fair game. They are saying the money goes to Mike. You can get him easy. You can get from him easy.
Interesting email here from Adam Wagner talking about how the final table of the horse event is really stacked with some huge pros.
Well, I mean, you're talking about an event that was $50,000 to enter. I'm assuming, I mean, the entire field was stacked.
Right.
There's only 146 players that entered that.
Well, it also
tournament.
brings up the fact, you know, is real poker trying to find the best, you know, overall player, you know, in a mixed game? They're always talking about, you know, would they ever change the main event to a mixed game? And I don't think they would ever do that, but some people brought that up.
Well, I mean, you can look at it any way you want to, but it's not like we're fooling anybody. Does anybody really think that the best poker players in the world are Robert Farconi, Chris Moneymaker,
Right.
and Joseph Hashem?
Right.
I'm not saying they're bad poker players. They're obviously all good players in their own right, but I'll put my money on Daniel Negreanu, Doyle Brunson, and those players more.
This one was limped around pre-flop. It got checked around on the flop. Mike is going to come out and bet the turn here with a pair of 9s. And Paul is going to call with a flush draw with an overcard. Now, we can't see Maurice's hand over in seat 7. $80 bet here by Mike. And did Paul raise or did he just call? Looks like he just called. And Maurice is going to call with queen jack. Well, he's got the queen of spades. And he's just got a gut shot there. Just a gut shot to the 10.
Well, he might be frustrated a little bit. I think that's one of the reasons he's making this call. And if the 10 of spades were to come off, well, it didn't.
Well, the river's the ace. And now I think Paul probably thought that was good. No, he's not going to bet at it. Well, and now Maurice is going to try to take a stab at it.
No, it's a great check by Paul because now Mike is probably going to throw this away. Well, you never know with Mike. Mike might call. If Mike calls, can Paul overcall?
Well, it's funny. What does that ace really complete there? I mean, it doesn't really complete all that much. Paul is in between.
It completes nothing except maybe 2 pair, but I think Paul's going to call this and win it.
Really?
I really do. I think Paul was checking. I can't see.
No, he's going to lay it down. He's going to lay it down there, Dave.
Are you kidding? And Maurice shows the bluff. He was steaming a little bit, but you know what? It worked. And I got to tell you, that's a really strange laydown. Nobody realized that Maurice just blew off about $800 with pocket 10s, was very frustrated.
Yep.
And wouldn't it be possible that if you checked him on the river and he misses his draw, wouldn't it be possible that he would bluff at it? Why not? I'm surprised. I mean, I really thought Paul was checking.
To kind of induce a bluff.
Well, just checking because he figured, okay, I don't need to bet this. If I hit the spade, yeah, of course I'm going to bet.
Right.
But if I hit an ace, I figure it's good, but I'm not going to bet it. But I'll probably call any reasonable bet. I'm surprised he laid it down. I really am. Obviously easier for us to say this in the booth.
Yeah, this final table is really stacked on the horse event.
Look at
Chip
this.
Reese, Doyle Brunson, Phil Ivey, all at the final table. TJ Cloutier.
Okay, now if you want to talk about somebody who is such an underrated player, Chip Reese, one of the best cash game players
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
But he doesn't really get the tournament accolades because of his style. But look at him in the tournament where he gets 50,000 chips and gets to play all different styles of tournament. He is the chip leader with 9 to go.
Now, this one was limped around on the flop, pre-flop, checked around on the flop. Alan's going to come out and bet here with ace-9. And EV here in seat number 3 is going to call. He's got ace-10. He's got a better hand. We don't have it up there yet, so he's got the better kicker. Here we go to the river. Well, the river is an 8 now. Is Alan just going to check it here? Well, he's going to come out and throw a little bit of a bet out here again. And a call here by EV, and that 10 is going to play.
Yes, it is.
The 10 plays.
Remember, it's your best 5 cards, so both players have aces,
Yeah.
queen, 8, 10, or 8, 9.
Yeah.
Now, interesting here, one of the things that's absolutely driving me nuts about Harrah's, and I like I said, I've kind of backed off on it, but this one event, you've got Chip Reese, Doyle Brunson, Andy Block, Phil Ivey, TJ Cloutier, Dewey Tomko, some of the biggest heavyweights in the world of poker. And now you're going to force them to play no limit hold'em.
Right.
They've been playing horse throughout the entire tournament, and now we're going to just switch it up?
Yeah. And
Unbelievable. I mean, is that like the equivalent of like, okay, so the World Cup, we're going to play soccer for the first, but when we get to the finals, we're going to switch it up and play cricket.
I want to congratulate Tommy Huffnagel. I believe that he cashed, of course, live at the bike
Did he?
favorite Tommy
Yeah.
Huffnagel.
Good job for him.
I know he was in the top 20. I can't quite tell here. I can't find.
How many players were in the money?
I think 16.
16,
20.
okay.
Yeah. Can't
Well
quite-
done for him.
Yeah, I got to bitch a little bit about the card player website. I just can't find where the payout is here.
Heads up here.
Limped
Actually, 3 ways,
yeah,
sorry.
limped around 3 ways. Ace 4-3 with a couple of spades.
It's a pretty ugly flop for all hands involved. Yeah, look at this. Maurice just open folds.
Yep.
And Trish goes, okay, I like that. Because now she's in there with Mike, and she's going to win this with a pair of queens.
Yep. And I think that
Pretty
they're going
much.
to check it down between.
Well, it's
Trish
not.
and Mike.
I don't think they're actually trying to check it down. Neither player really has anything. You know, Trish will play hard against her son. She has no problem doing that.
Okay, we are playing 10-20 no limit hold'em. Brown chips are $10 chips. Whites are hundreds. Got a couple of new faces on the table.
Yeah, we got EV in seat number 3. And Maurice then. And Maurice actually played a couple times where you were in Vegas.
Okay.
We had him in a couple times. Kind of
Nice,
exciting.
because I actually am very familiar with. I usually play with him every day.
Yeah, I know you're very familiar
And
with his
he's
style.
really gotten better. I really have to say.
Oh.
Like I said, he was one of the weaker games.
You actually told me. I remember when
Weaker
I
players.
was playing during the daytime. You said,
Yeah.
Dave, you got to come in. There's this guy Maurice,
Right.
who's so live, and I'd be like, okay. So I played with him a couple times.
Yeah.
And then he started playing in the evenings as well. So I started playing with him a few times, and I was like, Bart, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think he's that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not the strongest player in the game, but he's certainly not the worst.
10-6-6 here on the flop.
Yeah, nobody's got much of anything. We got ace-10 there in seat number 1, and Trish is going to bet it, I'm assuming. Well, George is going to beat her to the punch. He bets us 10-7. Now, interesting that Trish would check. I'm assuming she's going to check call this and probably lead on the turn if a safe card comes off. And that's a pretty safe card. And sure, that's what she's going to do. A lot of good players make this move. They check call the flop, see what everybody does. Because remember, by checking and calling, you can see what all the players do behind you, and then you can act. And she's going to win this with the ace kicker. Remember, it's once against your best 5 cards, so it's both players have 10s and 6s.
Yep.
Trish with the ace.
Now, looks like Isle Peeve on 2+2 pointed out that actually that hand with Mike, if he was against an opponent with another 8, the ace-8 actually would have beaten the soul 8, 10, 8s full of 10s versus, actually, no, wait a
No, it
minute.
wouldn't have. What are you
it
talking
wouldn't
about?
have. Yeah, I was just thinking that in my head as I said that.
No, the ace doesn't play at all. You have 8s full of 10s. The ace does nothing, unless the guy has pocket aces.
Right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. See, I gotta trust my instincts there, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody had ace 10, no, it still doesn't do anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even ace 10 doesn't do anything.
Mike is going to raise it up here to 80. Actually, he does, Dave. He does have
Yeah.
the eights full of aces.
10s, huh?
We'll get to this in a second here. We got a re-raise by Kirk. He's got pocket kings. He's going to make it 400 here. Mike brought it in for a
Oh,
raise.
you're right. What a brain fart.
He made it 80. And Maurice is going to call. No, excuse me. Maurice called Mike's bet. Now Kirk re-raises and everyone's going to fold. Yeah, Mike with the... we got a little flustered there by the ace.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
It beats a different 8, Dave.
Yes, yes, of course. If he beats it beats a different 8, he probably beats a different 8 anyway. That's what my point was, that the ace doesn't change anything. He had the top kicker anyway.
Exactly. If it was a blank.
Right.
No, they would have both had eights full of 10s.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
What my whole thought was, in that case, there was Maurice calling him with a 10.
Right.
Maurice has either got a 10 or he doesn't. I mean, Maurice doesn't have nothing.
Okay, we'll put
I
this
guess
one
that was
to rest.
right. I mean, but obviously, yes, we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
confused there for a second.
Yeah.
And you're right, Chicken Tender. Yes.
And look at
Just
this.
as ace 10 there would beat any other 10.
Right. Mike is going to raise it up here to 100. He's got a couple of queens. Now, Maurice is going to call him with kind of a trappish hand, king jack offsuit.
And these are the traps that Mike kind of forces people to play.
And
Because
EV is also going to call here with 6-7 offsuit.
This flop comes out jack high, Maurice is in trouble. Well, how about queen jack?
Wow. Mike's got top set here. I assume he's not going to slow play if he was the pre-flop raiser.
Nah, you can't slow play this. Remember, you look at that board there. That's not a board you want to slow play, is it?
Yeah, he's going to come out and bet. And I got to tell you, Maurice might call. And Maurice immediately calls for 200. He's going to get into real trouble if he catches a jack. And this pot is quickly $600. Here we
jack
go to
or
the
the 10?
turn. Well, the turn's a 3.
Now, obviously, Mike does not have the nuts here. He cannot lose the pot, but he doesn't have the nuts here. 10-9
And look at
is
this.
the
He
nuts.
checked it. Maurice checked right behind him, and the river is a 6. Mike going for the check raise.
Well,
And now
Mike kind of
the river
confused him
is
a little
six
bit
of
here.
spades.
And now he's going to bet for value, and he's probably going to overbet this pot, and he does.
Yep.
That's $800 into what is about a $600 pot.
Yep.
And
I think
Mike loves doing that.
He might get a call here from Maurice.
Well, this was masterfully played by
And
Mike.
look at this.
It really
He
was.
is going to call. Maurice is going to call, and Mike is going to take it down here with a set of queens. Nice hand.
Really, really well played by Mike. By just checking one street there, obviously taking the risk that a 10 or a 9 would come off and kill his hand, he takes the risk, confuses Maurice enough to
Right.
get up the big payoff, and Mike overbets the river and still gets paid off.
Again, I would say in about 10 minutes, we are kind of making that switch to the subscriber-only portion of the show.
Yeah.
First half an hour of the show is free, of course.
And I got to tell you, the first half hour of the show, it can only get better from this, because
Yeah.
the first half hour of this show is kind of a brain fart.
Butt moves over here to seat 1. Looks like Mike's got,
He's straddling.
yeah, he's got pocket 9s in the straddle spot. And look at this, EV's got pocket jacks in the big blind.
Well, let's see what EV does here. A lot of players would not play this too strong. Well, now.
George limps in, and EV's going to raise it up here to 140.
Yeah, that's a pretty basic play there. We got pocket 3s in George's spot as well. Interesting hands.
Well, he's only making it 60 more because, you know, it's 40 to go.
Well, you say he's not that experienced in this game. He might not know exactly what to do here. And Mike's going to re-raise it.
Yeah, it looks like Mike has pulled the re-raise. But I got to tell you, I've seen EV push with less here. It wouldn't be surprised me if he actually well, it looks like he's just going to call. And
Oh,
is
this
gonna,
flop comes out 7 high. What's going to happen?
it's going to be a $500 pot. The money might all go in. Wow, how about bottom set here for EV?
Well, that's a pretty awful flop for Mike.
Take all my money with
And
that.
EV's going to bet.
Wow, he's betting 300. No,
Yeah, about maybe about 350 there.
$400 total. He's going to bet 400 into what is about a $500 pot.
And Mike can't really beat much here.
Well, remember, this was the flop that Ed beat Mike Wu on.
Yeah.
When Mike Wu had a set of queens, and Ed had pocket 9s.
Yep.
And the 10, of course, came on the river. But Corporation Mike is not Ed.
Mike's going to get rid of it. EV takes down the hand. And I think he showed it there.
Yeah, he did. And look at that. The turn was a 10, the river a 6.
Wow. Unbelievable.
But even if the turn comes out at 10, you really like your 9s?
Well, Kevin Mapp on 2+2 has said that Tommy Huffnagel actually finished 20th and the top 16 got paid.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. But of course, Tommy Huffnagel been on the show, one of those seasoned pros that's been here in the game before.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for him, right? Love to have him in the booth maybe if we ever got a chance.
Tommy Huffnagel? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
See if we can. He's a good guy, really is.
Yeah.
I've actually had a couple of drinks with him and kind of picked his brain. And he said some amazing things because he used to play with the greats. I mean, some of the best players in all. And he's been
He
playing
used
this
to be
game
really
for-
good friends with Phil Ivey back in the day, too.
Oh, and he's been playing with, I mean, he's played with all those guys. He played with Stu Unger when it was back. You know, he used to talk about how Annie Duke,
Yeah.
she was somebody that they all wanted in the game, in the cash games.
Is she still somebody that they want in the cash
I don't know.
games?
He didn't go that far.
I mean, does she play in the high cash games? Because I've never really heard her name get bounced around in terms of the biggish games.
He said that she was somebody that she was somebody that they wanted in the game
Yeah.
back then. I'm not sure if it's still true.
Now look at this. Maurice has raised it up with pocket eights. George is called the button with kind of that trap hand. Mike and Allen are in the hand. The ball comes out 10-4-3, and it looks
Mike
like...
flops 2 pair.
Yep, Mike has got bottom 2 pair. Now, not a bad flop for eights here.
Not at all.
And
And Mike's going to go up the check raise.
Maurice is going to bet 200 here. The pot was about, I want to say, 250. So it's a $450 pot, 200 to call.
I think Mike's going to check raise this, and I think Maurice is going to push all in.
Really?
I really
there's
do.
the big check raise. Maurice does not have top pair here.
He doesn't, but I don't know. I will see. We'll see how it plays out.
400 more here to call. The pot is 1,050, 400 for Maurice to call.
Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. Maurice thinking about his pocket eights here. What can he beat now? He can beat big diamonds. He can beat a straight draw, something like 5-6. But he can't beat something like Jack 10 of diamonds, Ace 10 of diamonds, which would obviously be a killer hand.
Yep.
He also doesn't have a diamond in his hand, so if he is behind right now, he only has really one out. He doesn't know. Obviously, he doesn't know what Mike has. Doesn't know that a 10 would be good here. And I actually didn't realize how deep Maurice was. I thought that Maurice only had about $800 in front of him, which is why I thought he'd push. But in this case, he might get away from it. We'll see. But he's going to call.
Wow.
And this pot is quickly.
Yeah, it's
I'd
about
say-
1450
Yeah, there you
here,
go.
Dave. Here we go to the turn. And
Oh!
the turn is a 10, and Mike gets counterfeited.
But I was going to say, I just said there, Maurice doesn't know if a
Right.
10 comes. He is good here.
And a la Kenneth James against Barry Woods from September of last year, Maurice thinks the 10 killed him, but it actually helped him.
He has no idea.
And it goes check, check, and the river's a 5. And now Mike can't beat anything.
But it's a diamond. And now you got to look at it and go, wait a second. Did Maurice call me with something? Can I represent a 10 here?
And he's trying to figure out, he asked Maurice how much he has left. Maurice said 1,000.
And that's the whole question is, Mike knows he has to bluff here. And the whole question is, does Maurice have enough for me to bluff him out?
It's a $1,000 pot, and Mike is going to check, and Maurice is going to turn over 8s, and Mike is probably going to explode here. Pot was about 1,050 there. Actually, 1,450.
Yeah, 1,400.
1,400, yeah.
Somewhere on there. And that's one of the problems there with Maurice's hand. He had no idea where he was at.
Yep.
You didn't know, is Mike raising you with 3-4? Is Mike raising you with top pair?
Yep.
Is Mike raising you with diamonds? Because on the river, Maurice can beat nothing.
Yep.
Except specifically 4-3.
Mike saying, you bet 1,000 on the river, would you call?
And that was the question there, Mike. 'Cause Mike really tried to calculate it there, going, can I get this guy off the hand with only a $1,000 bet? The pot will be then about $2,500, $1,000 to call, getting 2.5 to 1 against me. Is it worth bluffing? And Mike just said, you know what? I'll pick a better spot.
Yep.
Button moves over to seat number 3.
So Paul is in the big blind here. Trish is going to limp in with a king jack of diamonds. George comes in for a limp. And this one is going to get limped around here 4 ways. We go to the flop. 10-5-5 here, and George has picked up trip 5s in seat 2.
I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be calling with 3-4. I don't know.
And Trish is going to throw a little bet out here with overcards. Let's see how George is going to play it.
Well, Trish uses her image in such a way where she knows she can pick up some pots when nobody has anything.
George just calls here.
I never do good on aces,
Now,
kings, queens, and kings. I never do good on them.
I'm going to ask you something about this hand. Against Trish, how hard can you play 5-3? Well,
Wow, look at that. The turn's at 10. Can Trish continue to, well, she's going to check.
And you know what? You probably bet this and then take the free showdown.
Well, George checked right behind her, and the river's a 6. She checks, and George is just going to content to check it down.
Well, at this point, of course.
Yep.
You're not going to bet the river there. You're not going to get called by anything, I don't think.
Yep.
Well, you never know. I mean, Trish could have been betting, say, pocket 8s and maybe puts a crying call in there, but I doubt it against George. You got to realize that Trish and George are really familiar with each other.
Dave, I won a couple of big pots off for George Giorgio today. I raised it up with ace-king in my famous cutoff spot, the spot he always thinks I'm stealing with.
Right.
He called me with ace-10. The flop came ace-7. He checked, I bet 200, he called. The turn was a blank. He checked, I bet 300, he called. I bet a nice $700 bet, and he called with ace-10 at the end. Let's take a look at the first chip count here in the night.
Almost 25,000 on the table. Paul's got the table covered at 6,100.
Yep.
He's in a good position. He likes to be he's at Alan and Mike's left. Mike's got 3,500. Alan only there with $530. Now he's got more than that, doesn't he? I see white chips there.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out later for you. And here it is. Alan down quick 1,500. George down 1,500. And EV is up 1,300 for the night so far. And we'll keep track of this throughout the night. And apparently Alan was down to $500, but he went and just got some more chips.
And look at this. Mike has flopped a set of 6s here. He's got a set of 6s. He's going to bet it on the button. Doesn't look like anyone can really call, though. And Maurice, he sometimes does this. He's going to take one off with pocket deuces. If he catches a deuce, he's in big trouble here, Dave. 6s against deuces here. Mike has got a set. Well, the turn's a king, and Maurice is probably going to get out of there.
I just don't understand why you'd be taking one off with pocket deuces here. You got to start realizing, too.
I'm not on a draw.
Mike says, what do you have, a 6? Maurice is drawing dead
I
here.
get my own hand right here. I don't need the board.
Wow, Mike's got to love his hand then. Good, you're not on a draw, even better.
Mike bets 300.
Now you got to realize too, look at that board there, Queen 6-4. If you call one off, take one off with pocket deuces, and just in case Mike is on that draw, let's say he's betting 5-3, he's open-ended, your deuce comes, now you're dead. I mean, I know I'm kind of far-fetched here, but you got to realize that if you're going for such a long shot, you want to make sure your long shot is good when you hit it.
You get paid.
So again, Dave, we are going to be kind of flipping that switch tonight here in a couple minutes. So I want to remind everyone, if you are a subscriber and you are not logged in, you have to log into the website to on the right-hand side of the screen to remain with the live feed.
I know.
Upper right-hand corner, what is it? Just your email and your password.
And your
right?
password, yeah.
There you go. Really simple. And then you can join us for the last 2.5 hours of the show.
Okay, I'll take my chances.
Limped around here. We're going to see 6-way action. It's a $120 pot here to the flop. King 3-6 with a couple of diamonds.
Well, Alan's got the best hand here. He's got top pair. Nobody else has got much of anything. Maurice has got a gut shot straight draw. Maurice loves to play that. Wow. Wait a second. Kirk's got bottom two. And he's going to bet it.
6-3.
Now, is Alan going to pay attention to who is betting here and throw away his King 10? Nope. Alan's
he's
going to
going to make the call in position here. Boy, King 10 goes in the muck so quickly when Kirk bets out to me, Dave.
You got to realize, what is Kirk betting here that you can beat?
Well, the turn's a deuce. Is that going to slow Kirk down? Would Alan might he be on a flush draw? Kirk checks, and Alan checks right behind him, and the river's a 5. And this one is just going to get checked down, and Kirk is going to win it here with 2 pair. And it's funny, you know, Alan's image. I got to tell you, if Alan bets that turn, I think Kirk just gets rid of it.
Of course, especially you got to think about who it is, who else is betting as well, and who is in there with it. Kirk, the deuce of diamonds completes every draw. If Alan was in there with 4-5, he got there. If he was in there with diamonds, he got there.
Yeah.
All you can beat now is a king.
And river quad on the river. And Jack, very high ace Jack.
Button moves over here.
The only thing nice about playing against a guy like Kirk, though, is you remember, if you call him one time, he will often shut down. He will not keep firing.
I made a big bluff against George Giorgio again today, too, Dave. He raised it pre-flop. I had a club draw. He checked me, I bet. Blank on the turn, he checked me, I bet. Blank on the river, I bet 1,000 on the river, and he folded.
Right. Did he have anything?
I think he said he had an overpair or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Evie's going to raise it up with ace-10 of diamonds. He's going to make it what looks like $100 to go.
I'm serious.
And it folds around to Kirk. I don't think Kirk is going to play. And I don't think Trish is going to call with ace-9. I really don't. Not out of position. Nah. Not a hand that she's going to get stuck in there with. And Evie loves to show his hands.
Yep.
And if you get good players at the table, they love that. They're just going to soak that up like a sponge. I'm not a big advocate for showing my hand. I don't want to show it at all. You got to pay to see my hand.
Button moves over here to seat 9. Kirk is saying he misses Barry. He really likes that guy. Well, you never know it from the table talk that goes on between those two.
Well, number one way to do it is to have Barry in the damn game and schedule these meetings for when the game's not
You
over.
can hear Paul talking about the meeting with the casino. Why on earth they would schedule it when this game is pretty much, Barry is one of the regulars in the game.
Yeah, it is
a little peculiar.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Could have had dinner there at like 6:15.
Now Maurice here is going to raise it up here to 80 with King Queen suited. EV calls and Mike calls as well. Three-way action here. So it's a $250 pot. Well, 993. This has missed everyone. Let's see how the action's going to go here.
Well, Evie's going to take a shot at it.
He just throws a kind of a weak $50 bet into a $250 pot. I don't think that Maurice is going to go anywhere. He might even raise here.
Yeah, he is going to raise.
Yeah.
He's going to see if this guy's weak or he's really strong.
I'm going to tell you, EV puts in a lot of these kind
Wow.
of weakish bets, and EV calls. And he's going to set up a play here. If he hits the queen right now, it's no good. Here we go to the turn. Well, the turn's a 10. Now EV's open-ended.
Evie might bet this. Let's see what he does. If he bets this here, I think Maurice has got to go away.
Well, the pot now is about 550. And he bets 50 again here, Dave.
Well, he's kind of naming his price here. He's hoping that Maurice maybe has pocket sevens, and Maurice doesn't have the, maybe Maurice can't stay in there with pocket sevens, or you at least you buy yourself the river for real cheap.
Really, really peculiar bets here, and that's what Maurice is trying to go through in his head here.
Well, it's always tough here. I know obviously it's easy for us. We know what the guy has, but could this guy have, say, a 9? Could he have, say, Jack 9, and he's kind of trying to, reel him in like a little fish? And Maurice is going to call.
And here we go to the river. And the river is a jack, and Maurice makes the nut straight.
Yeah, I was going to say, the queen was no good. The jack is no good. Evie needed a king or an 8 to win this pot. And Maurice there backs into the gut shot straight draw. He's got pretty much the nuts here.
Pot is $650. Wow. And he's going to, EV's going to throw kind of a little blockish bet out here. He's going to bet 250, 1/3 the size of the pot. Now, the issue is, can Maurice make the raise here? Well, I guess the answer is yes. He's going to raise it up. He's going to make it 900 total. So it's going to be, and a quick call here by EV, and Maurice is going to take down over a $2,000 pot. Wow.
Are you kidding me? He did not call.
Yeah, he did call. He did call. Thought his jack was good there.
Ronnie, can we leave that flop on there for 1 second? I'm just curious. Bart, I'm going to ask you this, and please answer as if I was a 5-year-old, okay? The flop is 993 rainbow, right? The betting went $50 bet, $150 raise, and then a call. How on the river, when you get raised that much, could a jack be good? I mean, wouldn't you put Maurice on a 9 minimum?
Probably a 9, maybe even like a
Full
pocket,
house.
How about pocket 10s or something like that?
Something like that. Thank you, Ronnie. I mean, I just don't understand how you possibly think a jack is good.
I mean,
there.
the way that hand played out, I think it's pocket 10s. Because now Maurice in his old days might wait to the river to raise something like 8-9, but now he's good enough to realize that at the end, if you continue to just call with 8-9, raising the river after 2 cards, 8-9 is far from the nuts at the end of that hand. So he probably would have heard from him at some point.
I might even put him on 9 jack. I might even put him on jack 9 where he was scared of his kicker until he hit it on the river. I mean, I certainly can't put him on what are you putting him on? There was no draw. What do you think? He missed his straight draw with a 9-9-3 board?
Butt moves over here to
Unbelievable.
Trish. Straddled pot here by Mike. Mike's looks like he's got queen 9 in the straddle spot.
Once again, we do this show every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10. It's live, unedited, unscripted. Nothing like you've ever seen before on TV or anywhere else. Nobody else does it live.
4-way action here in a straddle pot, so it's a $160 pot. 3-4-5 here, and EV's got a nice little hand here. He's got middle pair with an open-end straight draw here with 6-4.
And you wonder, is there going to be a little bit of a steam factor here for EV? He just blew through about $1,200. Is he going to lose a lot of money on this pot or, say, on subsequent pots?
EV's going to bet 100 here, and George is not going to get involved here with the bottom end of a straight draw, and EV's going to take it down. Again, you can email us here at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. So we're getting word here, Dave, that we have gone over to the Switch.
It worked?
Yes.
Oh, wow. There you go. That's not bad. I mean, I would challenge anybody to make a big technological difference and change in your format and not experience any difficulties at all. We got see Aisle 5 has changed his 2+2 name because you butchered it.
I see.
Now you are not the first and you won't be the last.
Mhm.
How many names have you butchered in the last 16 months?
Many. Limped around here 5 ways. Jack 8 Deuce Rainbow.
Forgot what I have. Hold on.
And Mike is going to come out and bet 80 here. It looks like he's got, I want to say 8-7 here. Yeah. And that's good. He's going to take it down.
Take it down.
You know, I heard that Mike lost, I don't know if I talked about this last night, but he lost $15,000 either on Monday or at the end of last week in a 5-10 game at night.
Really?
$15,000 in a 5-10 game.
This week?
Yeah, either this week or towards the end of last week.
Okay, because I played with him last Friday.
Yeah.
And I told you the game was really, really kind of helter-skelter. He took about 4 bad beats in a row.
Yeah.
Not bad beats, actually. He just doubled up 4 people in a row. Me being one of them.
We got an ace-jack offsuit here for Allen in the small blind. Well, Mike's got king-queen of diamonds actually in the small blind, Allen in the big blind, and Mike is going to raise it up here.
Well, I mean, Mike can raise it with less than that. That's definitely a raising hand. Allen's going to call with ace-jack.
Quickly calls, and I have a feeling Maurice might come in here from behind with Jack 8 of diamonds. He does.
And EV's going to come in, too.
Yeah, and that brings EV in here with a dominated ace-6, and here we go.
Wow, pot's over $500 now.
Well, it was $150, $600 pot here,
Wow.
4 ways. Mike the pre-flop raiser. Well, Jack 9-4, and Allen has got Maurice outkicked. How much is Maurice going to lose here?
And you got to realize it's Allen, though. I mean, is Maurice paying attention to playing the player?
Now, is Mike going to come out and bet here with overcards and the gut shot to the 10? There are 2 spades out there, and he does. He's going to bet. And I have a feeling if Allen's on the short stack, he is going to push here. $360 bet. Is Allen going to make the push here? Looks like he might only have maybe 1,000 or so.
Well, the pot's $960. Why not push all in?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you, it's not like you're going to get it tricky here.
And there he goes. And I think this should be an easy lay down here for Maurice. Of
course.
With Allen going in.
Simple lay down here.
Very easy when Allen. And anytime Allen is putting money in the pot, he usually has the goods. He's not going to do this with just a flush draw.
Remember, it's not just Allen here. You also have EV behind you. And remember, Mike once in a while wakes up with a big hand, too.
He was a straddle, the pre-flop raiser, and the better.
Come on, Jack 8 of diamonds?
Yep.
I mean, it's one thing to call a big raise pre-flop, but that's not the flop you're looking for.
Yep.
I mean, if the flop would come out Jack 9-4 with 2 diamonds, okay.
Gotta love the ones.
This guy just about never misses it, so he's got an edge.
Now, the only problem, I like Maurice. He is genuinely one of the nicest guys in the casino. The only problem I have with playing with him is he takes such a long time sometimes. When he's at the table, the game goes slower.
It definitely
Like,
does.
he will take, like, an inordinate amount of time with decisions. And I'm always wondering when I don't see his cards, is he taking time, like, with this decision, which I would think is pretty easy to get rid of real
some
quick.
players, top pair, it's a big pot, you
Yeah.
don't want to throw it away. Get an email here. While he's thinking, I'm going to go to the email here by Eric Wardenberg. He says, Liz Lou, when is she coming back? I say kick Dave out and hire Liz. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate
Look
it.
at this, he gets folded around here, and Mike is going to call because I think it's only maybe another 200 left to him.
Well, he's looking at it. Maybe my overcards are good, and in this case they are. King, a queen, or a 10
Yeah, he's
is
getting
good.
more than 2-1, and look at that. The queen comes, and Mike is in the lead now. Allen can catch an ace here or a jack. That's what he needs, right? An ace or a jack. Here we go to the river. The river's a 4, and Mike is going to win in here with the king-queen.
Sometimes you got to look at it. If Mike was thinking that his king or his queen or a 10 are good,
Yeah.
Mike actually has 10 outs to the win. And then you look at it, if I'm getting more than 2-1, I have to call. Remember, 9 outs is a flush draw. So 10 outs is actually better than a flush draw. You're talking about 60-40, or maybe only you're a 2-5 dog, so a 3-2 dog.
Allen's such a nice guy. He's really been running bad, Dave. I think that's going to do it for him. We talked about, if he continued to kind of play what we've seen over the last 6 months, 6 to 12 months, how long would it be before we kind of see him take an extended break from poker like we kind of see, we saw Ed do about 3 months ago and such like that,
We see it happen all the time. I talk to Mo about it. A lot of times people will ask, hey, where did this guy go? Where did this guy go? And you go, if they're not really, really good players,
Yeah.
they probably, the law of averages have finally caught up to them.
Yeah.
Finally, they started running a little bad, or actually running more honest.
Right.
You know, the
More
cards
honest to what really should have been happening.
exactly. They weren't getting lucky time and
Yeah.
time again. You know, and it catches up to you.
5-way action here, limped around, ace 6-5, all hearts. Now, Trisha's played a weak ace 7 of diamonds over there. Ace rag suited. She's going to throw a little bet out here. She's going to bet 120. And even Mike is not going to get involved here with jack 5 with all hearts on board.
That's often the problem there. A lot of times people will look at a hand like King Queen there and go, "How does this guy call me?"
Right.
You know, I moved all in. Well, sometimes it's just a matter of how big the pot is. And in that case, the pot got to the point where it was about, I want to say about $1,800, maybe $500 to call, $600 to call.
Yeah.
He's getting he was getting more than 3 to 1 on his money. He almost had to call.
And if he puts Allen on a jack in hopes that he doesn't share one of the kickers with it,
Yeah, if he has ace jack specifically, you have to call. If he has king jack, well, you still have 3 queens and 4 tens. You still have 7 outs to the win. As long as he doesn't have a set there, you're okay.
2 smalls and 1 big here. And Trisha's going to bring it in for, wow, just this little $60 race here. She's got a couple of ladies. Now, Maurice has got jack 10 of diamonds here in the small blind. He's probably coming in here. He makes the call.
And is Kirk going to call this? Nah.
Well, he's got a suited connector. You know, it's only 40 more here.
Well, you know what, with
And he does call.
once Maurice calls, I think you can call the 7-8 suited. I don't want to take that heads up against Trish, but 3 ways, why not?
180 going 3 ways here. Well,
Uh-oh.
jack deuce 3. Now, is Maurice going to get involved here?
Well, you saw how, well, he's going to bet right out. He wants to see where he's at.
And let's see if Trish raises him, will he get out of there? He's going to put a little weakish $80 bet out here.
She's not one to usually kind of play it too tricky. She'll raise right away, and she does.
He's going to make it 100 more. It's kind of a smallish raise.
Let's build a pot with my queens. Hope you have queen jack.
And a quick call here by Maurice. So here we go to the turn. Well, the turn's a 9, no help. But now you got to start maybe thinking of
What kind of kicker Maurice
the
had.
range of hands. Might you check here if you're Trish?
I don't check this at all. I mean, there's just too many hands that he could have. He could have king jack, queen jack, jack 10, ace jack. Who knows? I'm not going to give him a free card. I'm going to bet one more time.
She's going to bet 350 here. So the pot now is about 900, 350 for Maurice to call. And I think he's probably knows that his hand is no good, I would imagine now.
Well, I mean, that's the whole. You got to play the player. You really got to play the player. And are we getting a new player in seat number 5? Or is Allen gone to get more chips?
Do you have white chips behind
See, and again, like I said, Maurice, really, really nice guy, but again, kind of takes like eternally long for kind of a simple decision.
And I don't mind sometimes taking a while, but obviously in this case, you got to start realizing, what is she raising me with?
Yeah.
Is she really raising me with a hand worse than Jack 10? Now, Trish does make moves. It's not like she plays it ABC straightforward.
And he shows the jack and he folds, and obviously it's the right fold. He probably could have gotten away from it on the flop. You know, jack 10 of diamonds, it's a pretty hand. Now, Trish has only made it 60, but even if it is just 60 and it's only, say, another 50 for me to call, and I've got Kirk to my left in the big blind, chances are, 9 times out of 10, if I call, it's going to get heads up. Kirk is going to fold in the big blind. Do I want to play that hand out of position?
Well, you got to start thinking about it going, okay, well, the pot odds, she's put 60 in there. There's 10. There's 90 in the pot.
Right.
50 for me to call. I'm almost getting 2 to 1 right away, but I have to play this hand out of position against a pretty tough player.
But again,
the
I
next
mean,
free straight.
you know, and I don't think you meant anything by saying the pot odds, but it just goes to show you that I think those types of pot odds can be calculated when trying to determine if you can defend a limit blind. In no limit, mistake just begets mistake, and there's huge verse implied odds
Honestly,
coming in with a...
Yeah, I think it's the same problem in limit hold'em as well, to be honest with you. It's
Right,
one of
but
those
you
things
can't
where
lose your whole stack, though, if you get, you
of
flop
course
trip,
not.
trip jacks and she's got ace jack.
Right. But we always talk about, people always kind of look at it and go, I mean, the good thing is, well, okay, I'm getting 2 to 1 right away on my call, but I have to play a pretty tough hand to play out of position against a good player.
Now, it was limped around, and Mike raised it pre-flop. Everybody called. Flops come jack 10-7 here. Mike bets. And now Maurice has the best hand. Look at this. He called with 10-4 spades. He really likes that hand.
I call you, check it all the way down.
Mike has come out, and he has bet, looks like 300, or about 300 here. He's kind of overbet this pot. Well, 220 to be specific. And what if he calls? It's easily going to drive Trish out of here. With
Oh,
ace.
yeah, of course.
And Mike says, I got you on 10-9. And here we go to the turn.
Go ahead.
Well, the turn's a 5. Is Mike going to continue to fire? Yes, he is. He's going to bet 600
Well,
here.
Mike's got outs here. He can catch an ace, a queen, or a 9. I mean, or ace, queen, or king.
Potty's now 1,200, 600 from Maurice to call. Mike has fired 2 big bullets here at this pot.
Really puts Maurice in a tough spot here. Maurice thinking this through.
I mean, sometimes we talk about calling in position is almost as good as a raise against some players, but against Mike, you almost have to raise him sometimes just to find out where he's at or slow him down, because he'll just keep firing at you.
And if you've got a big hand, you don't mind them keep firing at you.
And Maurice makes the call here, and this pot is quickly almost $2,000, and the river is a 5. And now what is Mike going to do? Third bullet here?
I got to tell you, I think Maurice is going to call this. I really do. I think Maurice made the decision on the turn to call this. If he folds now, it's really a bad play.
And how much
it
is
really
the bet
is.
here on the river? $1,500 bet here on the river. So the pot is now $3,500. $1,500 here for Maurice to call.
Now, obviously, anybody at home can sit here and go, well, you can't call this. But
And he folds.
I got to tell you, how do you call the turn bet and then not call the river?
See if he shows the bluff. Well, he shows one. She shows a queen. Shows a queen.
Unreal. I got to tell you, I just don't understand how you possibly call the turn bet and then not the river bet. If you thought your hand was good on the turn, you've got to realize, if you think your hand is good on the turn and you think maybe your opponent is bluffing, well, think about it. If he is bluffing and he's a player of Mike's caliber, well, then he's going to continue to bluff. And you have to know that when you call the turn bet, you have to know that you're going to have to call a very big bet on the river. You have to know that. You got to plan one step ahead. It's like a chess game. It's like war out here. Nothing just kind of goes out there. It's not just in a vacuum.
So I got to move over to seat number
3 ways here. That was straddled around. So it's a $120 pot. King, queen, 4. EV with the best hand here. He's got queen 7. Mike is going to bet it, though. Mike bets about $100 there, and Evie's going to call it. Pot is quickly $320. Turn to 3 of clubs, changes nothing. Mike's actually picked up a wheel draw now. He's got ace 5. Trish is not in the hand. The river's a 10 of clubs, changes nothing, and Evie is going to win this with a queen, pair of queens here. And he's going to bet it. Kind of a little blockish bet out here. He puts a $100 bet out there. $100 bet into a $350 pot, and Mike is not going to take a shot at it. Evie shows him the queen. And Maurice is going to move over to seat number 2. But you understand the play there. I have no problem calling the flop, but now on the turn, you really have to make a decision. Now, you have 3 choices, obviously. You can always fold, you can raise, or you can call. Okay? Now, if you think your opponent is bluffing, you have 2 choices. You can raise him, okay, if you think he's on a draw and you want to take it down right there. Or you can call, thus inducing a bluff on the river. But you have to know, if you call on a turn, he is going to continue to bluff if that's in fact what he's doing. Obviously, it's a lot easier for me here in the booth, but making tough calls, that's what No Limit Hold'em is all about. Getting a little bit over 2-1 on your money, you got to start thinking, well, Mike only has to be bluffing 1 out of 3 times for this call to be profitable in the long run. Could Mike be bluffing 1 out of 3 times? I think so. Heads up here between Kirk and Mike. And Kirk is going to make his $400 raise here. He likes to do this every once in a while. He knows he has the best of it. And Mike out of position with King Deuce. I don't think he's going to get involved. Not heads up. Wow, what do I know? Mike makes the call, and this pot is quickly $1,000. 10-8-4 here. And Mike checks it, and Kirk is going to make the continuation bet. You got to give that to Kirk. Kirk doesn't play very many hands, but the few hands he does play, he plays them hard. And he bets $800 into about a $1,000 pot, and he takes it down. Mike thinks he has 2 9s. Well, he's dead wrong, but ace high was good, and Kirk takes it down. Nice aggressive play by Kirk there. We always talk about No Limit Hold'em. You don't have to play that many hands to win a lot of money. Kirk there winning himself an easy $500.
Button moves over here to seat 3 to EV. Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions, always appreciated. Check it out, Railbird me on one of those online sites tomorrow. See how I'm doing. 3,000
Yeah, definitely.
Omaha.
I'm really excited about it. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, you will be playing the $3,000 Omaha
Yep.
event, World Series of Poker. You're flying down tomorrow morning?
Yes, I am.
Great.
Button moves over here to C3. I have not bought in yet, so if something goes wrong, I can miss the tournament, but
Right.
it's not that big of a thing.
Make sure you buy into the right tournament?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that.
The ticket will say Omaha, and it'll say July 15th.
Lucky enough, it's going on like an hour after I get in, so.
There you go. So the likelihood is you'll probably be in the right place. Okay, good.
Yeah, where is Mo, the host of the game? I haven't seen him around.
Well, I'm assuming Mo is probably at the same dinner.
10-8-3 here with a couple of hearts. And Trish is going to come out and bet here with King 9, just kind of a little bluff bet.
There's only one player behind her. She figured maybe I can steal it here.
And EB calls, and Trish here is
she gonna
going to
continue?
yeah, she's going to continue to bet here. She bets 400 now. But
Wow.
EB might now still call though, because the 10 has paired the board. Less likely for her to have a 10 here.
Well, I like the bet by Trish. I mean, she thinks that EV's probably on some sort of draw, heart draw, maybe Jack 9, 9-7 straight draw. And she goes, okay, he called one time, but can he call a $400 bet on the turn? And obviously, no, he can't. Nice play.
Already done with the first hour of the show here, Dave.
I'm 8.5 months pregnant. A little bit late to be asking the father.
Yeah, tomorrow's event should be a really good one for you. Get 3,000 chips,
When you're 8.5 months pregnant,
plenty of chips to play some poker. Omaha, 8 or better, your game.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play it a little bit differently. I think I kind of jammed it and was too aggressive in the beginning stages of the 5,000 tournament.
Well, you know the cardinal rule. I mean, you can't bluff an idiot. Players that just are completely ignorant of how to play a game, you can't bluff them out because, especially in Omaha,
Yeah.
they're going to stick around to the river.
Because it's not like Hold'em where a guy can miss. Omaha, someone's gonna have something.
There's always-
fit nut low draw.
Right, and they
something
don't
like
realize that. Wait, I shouldn't be going for the 5th nut low draw
Right.
with no high backup. So they're calling you down, and then they end up winning it with a pair of 4s, and you go, oh Jesus.
This one was limped around here, and I believe that EV actually moved all in. He only put 200 in there, but he actually moved all in there with the king queen offsuit, and then showed it.
Well,
So
I mean, he was doing pretty well right away. It was up a quick 1,300, but then he gave that all to Maurice. Tough hand there with that queen jack. Both players had nothing, and
I look at Maurice kind of almost like, he's not the same player as Barry Woods, but he definitely is a reactive player. And, the bet on the river was just too much for him to call there at the end. But I think he would mix it up with Mike and just kind of continue to
clearly
call.
he's already
Yeah.
had 3 or 4 big hands with Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
hey, Mike, you ready?
Yeah, but he definitely is a reactive player. If you put him in a 5-10 game that's somewhat passive, he'll
not
play
gonna-
it.
yeah,
he'll
he's not-
play it somewhat passive.
Yeah, he's not going to necessarily make the game.
No, definitely not.
Mike is going to raise it up here to 80, and George is going to re-raise here with ace-king. Mike's got 10-7 offsuit.
Hey, George, did somebody invite you into this party?
George is going to make it 300 here.
He is the dude.
Apparently, Kirk is trying to be funny. Kirk not going to call. Mike's not going to call either, I don't think.
Nope.
I don't think he's going to call. George heads up out of position. No,
Now,
he
you
doesn't.
wonder if it sometimes is the best play if Mike raises in the cutoff and you're on the button with ace-king and you've got tight, predictable players in the blinds. Would you be more often or not just a smooth call with ace-king, hope that you hit the flop and just continue to call him in position? Is that the best way to win the most amount of money? Because,
you
remember,
really
ace-king
gotta-
is not a great hand in no-limit hold'em. It's not
It's not.
disguised.
You got to mix up your. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
got to mix up your play once in a while. Once in a while you want to raise it up. And let him think you have a big pocket pair. Once in a while you want a smooth call. You really can't play it the same way every time against Mike because Mike's a good enough player that he'll pick up on it. You also don't want to get outplayed. Remember if he raises it with, like, say, 9-5. You smooth call at ace-king, you both miss, and now he bets and you fold?
And now Mike's got aces, and he raises. Going to make it 100 to go. And I don't know if anyone can call. Well, Maurice has got Jack 10 here in the blind. I think he's going to come in here, Dave.
Well, if this flop hits,
Well,
flop
he's
hits
actually
Maurice.
limped under the gun. Limped under the gun.
Well, the action is actually on
Kirk.
Trish, and she's not going to play.
Yeah, Kirk folds, Trish folds. And actually, Mike usually shows that bluff, but he only showed Maurice the 8-queen last time. He didn't show him the actual bluff.
I gotta actually say, I want to respond to what you were saying about Maurice because it's really interesting. And look at this, Evie's going to call it 9-4.
Yeah.
Wow, and we're going to see a $300 pot. And if there's ever a weakness to Mike's game, he'll probably have problems getting away from aces here.
There's no way he's going anywhere with this hand.
No, this flop comes out, say, Jack 9-4.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
No way.
Jack 10 deuce.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. Now, in this case, neither player is very deep.
Now, wait a minute. Did EV re-raise, or is he just called here? He actually re-raised. EV re-raised. He's going to save Maurice. He has re-raised with 4-9 of diamonds.
I got to tell you, smooth call here if you're Mike. Not even a question.
You want to get Maurice in the hand behind you?
I'm just not. No, you got to realize I'm not really worried about it. Neither player can hurt me that much. Neither player is that deep. I have position on EV, and I want to make EV move all in on the flop. That's what he's going to do.
Well, it looks like Mike called. He did call.
Yeah, there's no point to raising.
So let's see if Maurice is going to get out of there now. And Mike is going to really, really be heated if he loses his.
Because you got to remember, EV is basically out of the hand now. EV can't hurt me anymore.
Right.
So basically, even if Maurice calls, it's only heads up, really, for real money.
And Maurice folds, and here we go. This spot's going to be almost $1,000 here, and Mike has EV right where he wants him. Here we go to the flop.
Well, there's a 9.
Wow, 9-8-5. All the money's going in here. And, wow, Maurice would have flopped an open-ended straight draw, Dave.
Yeah. Would have been really interesting.
EV went all in, and Mike called. The turn is a 3. EV needs some help, a 9 or a 4. And the river is a 6.
And EV really did save Maurice money, because if Maurice was in there, he is going to stay in there till the river.
Yep, absolutely.
And EV says, thank you very much.
And as always, Mike wakes up with some hands as well.
Of course. People never assume that he has a hand, but you got to realize that he does.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about Maurice's playing ability, and I'm going to tell you something. You're talking about how he's a reactive player. And I'm going to say that Maurice's game is really, his game has grown tenfold in the last 6 months. But he plays a lot better in a smaller, more passive game. We see Mike really make other players worse, don't we? All the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times I want to play in a game with Mike, only not necessarily because I want action with Mike, but because I know what he does to the other players in the game. And you see in this game already, Maurice has made a couple of questionable plays with Mike in the game.
And Mo is back. He's going to post behind here. Straddled pot here by Mike. Jack 10.
That was another word I was going to use, too.
Barry Wood should be back here soon. They're going to probably have a seat for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, very quiet, reserved.
Three-way action. Mike checks Jack 10 out of the straddle spot,
Well,
and he flops the nuts.
Yeah, there you go.
And he checks it.
Are you kidding me?
Mo
He
checks.
is on fire.
Mo checks behind him. River is a 9.
Well, Maurice is actually, that's a great card
Wow,
for Maurice.
yeah. He's got a, look at this. He's got a diamond draw and a straight draw.
And a straight flush draw. The 10 of diamonds were to come off. He has the absolute nuts.
$200 bet here by Mike, or $100 bet by Mike, and Maurice calls. Here we go to the river. Well, the river's a blank. Mike still has the nuts here. Is Maurice going to try to bluff at it?
No, he checked.
No.
And he checked fold. And is Mike going to show it? And he does. He shows the nuts.
Yep.
Shows Jack 10 there.
Again, I realize that Mike slow played that hand.
Well, checked one street.
Yeah, you can check one street, but again, with his aggressive image, I would just assume he would just bet all the time.
Yeah, I gotta take a little bit of a stance with you on that one. I think Mike's game is so good because he's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And if he did anything all the time, people would pick up on it. So he'll probably bet his monsters now 8 out of 10 times now, right? And 2 out of 10 times not. And he'll raise with his pocket aces 9 out of 10 times now, but one time he won't. Just so you never know. And that's part of what makes Mike really dangerous, because he is so unpredictable.
These guys are going to chop it up.
Obviously, when we had Alan in the booth here, and he claimed that he was Mr. Mysterious. That's what made him so dangerous. What's so good about you is, hey, I'm mysterious. I'm Alan. But in actuality, Mike is somewhat unpredictable. You never really know what he has.
Paul's over there in seat 6.
Wow, and check that out. Chicken Tender giving us an update. This is 1 hour until the horse final table. Apparently they played for 19 hours yesterday and this morning. Oh, the final table starts in an hour. Huh.
Yeah, it starts at 9 p.m.
Interesting.
He's playing, whether we pay him or
That is one that is televised, so it's going to be no limit hold'em at the
I
end.
mean, the only thing that's, God, I would love to watch it if it was horse.
Yeah, but they
Wouldn't you?
just couldn't televise horse, though. There's no way.
What, with Doyle Brunson, Chip
I
Reese?
agree with you, but how are they going to televise horse on ESPN?
he's gonna come here.
Tell me how they're going to do that.
Wipe his out.
They're going to explain the game every 5 minutes when they jump back and forth and put it into an hour?
Figure it out. I don't know. I mean, we do it.
I'll clear it with you.
We do a horse game here?
We would do that with Doyle Brunson, Chip Reese, Phil Ivey, TJ Cloutier. I mean, I just can't believe it.
Now, Maurice's bet here, he's got a flush draw with an overcard. Mike is called with middle pair. It was limped around pre-flop. Pot now's about $200. Here we go to the turn. Well, the turn's another 10.
How much I can.
Mike is still in the lead here. Check, check. And the river's an 8.
How much I can.
And now Mike's going to throw kind of a little $100 blockish bet out here.
He's got to learn that his business makes more than he can make here.
And I assume he would fold to a raise here, obviously.
Yeah, he'll probably fold to a raise. Sometimes Mike will actually put those little bets in there and get called. Remember, it's Mike. Sometimes he gets called by hands as weak as king high or ace high, or in this case, even a 6.
A lot, you know that. Remember before
I don't know. It just kills me because, I mean,
he was called.
out of all the events to watch on TV, the one that would be so exciting and so much fun for me to watch would be something different.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying that, remember, I mean, just like this show, yeah, we want to cater to, you know, a lot of people serious about poker, but it's got to be entertaining as well. ESPN and other networks that carry poker are not going to be able to put a horse event on and have a mass audience for
You
it.
don't think it would be entertaining?
I do, Dave, but they're not going to be able to have an audience. They can't do it. I mean, you explain to me how they're going to do that.
I don't. I guess people put more into it than it is. I don't know. I just don't see how difficult it would be. I understand what you're saying. Obviously, it would be difficult. People aren't familiar with what Raz is or what Stud is or what
Stud 8 or better. Now look at this. Mike is going to raise it up here on the button. And George has re-raised out of the small blind with 10s. We haven't seen Paul play a hand yet. He's got ace-king, and he just lets it go. He's not even going to get involved, playing really tight here.
It's out of position. We talk about position being so important in this
And
game.
EV calls the raise and the re-raise with Jack 8 of spades. And we're going to see $500 pot here, 10s against Jack 8.
I don't mind the laydown with ace-king at all.
Queen
in early
7-4
position.
here.
He was betting the last.
That's a hand I'm not looking to play out of position either. I'm always looking for an excuse not to play a hand out of position. Just like I'm always looking for an excuse to play a hand in position.
Here I said, thank you. Put your money there. Thank you.
George takes it down.
Yeah, George actually pushes big there. There was an overcard on the board, and he takes it down.
I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I just think about it. Out of all the events, what are they going to televise? Like 7 or 8 events, right?
Yeah, it's all no limit. I know,
And they're all no limit hold'em.
And I understand what you're saying too, but I'm just saying that, they would have to basically go to that stupid little thing they do about how to play Stud 8 or better, how to play Omaha High-Low, every single time they cut away to a different game. It would just be...
You could do some sort of tutorial in the beginning of it and then just hope that everybody catches on. I don't know. I mean, I guess I just look at it. You got the World Poker Tour out there. You've got FSN Superstars of Poker. You've got ESPN, and it's all no limit hold'em, no limit hold'em, no limit
I'll
hold'em.
talk more about that in a second here. 6-way action here, limped around. 9-9-6 here, Rainbow. Doesn't look like anyone has much. Well, I think what this country is lacking, what I was going to say, is like a genuine poker channel. If there was an actual poker channel like a golf channel, they could obviously do it, but ESPN owns the rights to the whole thing.
Right.
So they can't give it up. Turn is a jack here. Well, George has got jack 8 from the button. Let's see if he fires now. Well, he checked it again, and the river is a 7. And Maurice actually has a bigger kicker, and Maurice didn't bet either.
No, everybody played it really passively, and now Maurice is going to bet.
Actually, Maurice is going to check call here. Looks like
Oh,
he's
wow,
going to check
George
call.
did bet.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Paul's going to get rid of it. And Maurice is going to take it down there with the ace-jack. There's my favorite cocktail waitress.
Where?
Right next to you. Why don't you get out of here? I want to wish Tracy some best wishes because she hurt her back the other day.
How'd you do
Kinda
that?
Difficult. Walking around holding drinks is a tough job.
No, it is. Definitely.
Kind of threw it out, extended to her hip.
Right.
Had to go to the doctors yesterday. Got a little therapy, but I told her I would help it out with her too. A little massage.
Little massage.
Yeah, yeah.
You're such a... Hey, anything you can do for the team, huh? Really taking one there. Such a good guy you are.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
All in.
And now Evie is just going to move all in here with ace 4. Just going to move in here with ace 4.
Now, he did a short rebuy. How much is he in there for? What did he... He has $1,000 there? He just moved in for $1,000? Okay, so he doesn't have much money there. $660. So he's put $660 in there to win about 50.
And Kirk has
Obviously-
got pocket tens here.
Oh, it's an easy call if you're Kirk.
Yeah, he's just going to re-push, going to try to isolate here.
And then we talk about the problem here where Evie, he is putting $660 in there to win 50.
Yep.
And
And
look
there's
at
the
that.
ace. He's going to double through unless Kirk gets lucky here. Turns a 5. Kirk needs a 10 and only a 10. And the river's a king.
Yep.
And ace 4 is going to take it down.
And I never really understood it. I just don't understand why you would risk $660 to win 50. Do the math and figure out how often you have to win that hand to make it worthwhile for yourself. Now, obviously, you can get lucky. You can get called by a better hand and still win, which has to go into the equation at all. But overall, it's got to be a negative EV play. No pun intended. EV.
We see it all the time in the lower games, Dave,
Yeah.
when you can rebuy, especially in the restricted buying games.
Now, you don't usually see it in this game, but hey, especially when you have 660. Sometimes you see it when down to $100 or $80.
You know, we always talk about this, and a lot of people bring it up on 2+2. You know, there is a certain way to play a short stack strategy. I don't necessarily know if I've ever seen anybody really come into this game and do it really correctly, like buy in for under 2,000 and play just kind of nice short stack strategy. Sometimes, you know, the closest person we ever see to do it is Mo, actually, sometimes in Seed 8. He will sometimes play kind of a short stack. And then he might lose, and then he'll buy in for like 7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More often than not, how many times have we seen somebody actually buy in for short and build up their stack? More often than not, they buy in for short, they lose it, and then they rebuy it for 5,000.
Yeah. Mo is going to raise it up here to 200 with ace jack.
Yeah,
to
nobody
take it
gonna
down.
call.
Well, and the other thing, though, too, is I always find myself interested with the short stack strategy. And for those of you that might have been having a little bit of problems yesterday, you talked about this, and we've been really waiting about this the whole time. The No Limit Theory book by Skolansky, you gave a little bit of a review for it,
I
right?
did, yeah.
You thought it was a good book.
I thought it was a really, actually, an excellent book. It's a book that I will recommend.
And we're not getting paid to obviously say anything
No.
about that book. No Limit Hold'em Theory and Practice.
Not only do we get nothing, I don't even know Sklansky, and I don't know Miller.
Yeah.
They give me nothing. Nothing I get from them.
I just watched Ed Miller on Queer from the Straits Guy.
There you go. No, we always get that question. People always ask us, what books do you recommend to improve my No Limit Hold'em game? Oh, there you go.
Limped around here 6 ways. Ace 10 here for Trish up front.
Actually, that's Kirk's hand.
Oh, you're right. That is Kirk on the button. He's going to bet. And that's probably going to do it here.
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, it's Kirk betting, but nobody's got much of anything here. Mike
got a gut shot wheel draw here.
Okay, with 2 spades out there, why not? I guess he's going to take a shot. Maybe he thinks he can represent
Actually,
spades.
he's going to check raise. He's going to check raise Kirk. And is Kirk going to continue on here with ace 10? It's 250 more, Dave.
Wow.
Now, if Kirk knows Mike, any other player, it's an instant fold for Kirk.
Now, you got to start thinking, though, it was a limped around pot. Could Mike be in there with 7 deuce, ace deuce, ace 7? Could he be in there with, remember, could he have an ace with a spade draw? Remember, the ace of hearts is out there, so might you put him on ace 5 of spades, something like that.
Wow, and Kirk is going to move all in over the top. I was going to say, I got to tell you, if Kirk calls here, Mike was probably going to put Kirk to the test with some heavy bets on the turn and on the river. I'm not sure about this play, Dave. He's going to move in here with ace 10, and if Mike had something like
7 deuce?
Yeah.
If Mike had 7 deuce here, Mike's going to call. And Kirk's in bad shape. Now, you've got to realize, this is actually talked about in Sklansky and Miller's book, this book, and he always talk about it how, and actually Doyle Brunson talks about it a lot in Super System 1. He talks about by check raising there, Mike is essentially only risking 250 to win the pot, okay? But he's putting his opponent to the test. And his opponent knows that if he's going to make a move, he's going to have to risk all his chips to win what's in there. So inherently, Mike is only risking 250 to win a couple $100. While Kirk is actually risking like 3,000 to win like 250. Because he's only going to get called by it when he's dead, right? He's not going to get called by a spade draw, I don't think.
Well, the other thing, too, is even if you call the check raise, you just know you're going to face much, much more in the later streets.
Well, if you think you're good, is that maybe the best way to go about it, though?
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I was going to say, if Kirk thinks he's good here with ace-10, shouldn't he just call Mike?
Let Mike bluff up his money.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about it. If somebody is prone to bluffing a lot, why not give him enough rope to hang himself?
9-5-4 here.
Evie and Maurice both have top pair, but Maurice is in bad shape with kicker.
And Maurice is going to come out and bet here with King-9. Let's see what Evie's going to do.
And I got to tell you, if Evie raises stuff right away, a lot of the money might go in.
Mike, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, he's going to make it
The answer is yes.
250 here. We have really yet to see Paul, play a hand here, really post-flop after the flop.
Well, we talk about it. You don't have to play that many hands in no limit hold'em to win a lot of money.
And I have a feeling that Maurice is not going anywhere. Evie could really extract some money.
Well, Maurice has just seen how Evie moved all in with ace-4.
You know the funny thing about these two guys, though? And they do play against each other. I wouldn't be surprised if Maurice says, if I call, do you want to check it down? Not as a slot play thing, but just as trying to convince it that we both don't have strong hands. I see it all the time in the afternoon, Dave.
I know, I hate it. God, I hate that.
Again, it's not really a soft play.
People ask me all the time, they go, hey, if I call you, will you check it down? I go, no.
And he just asked him there, and Maurice shook his head no.
Actually,
Evie shook his head no. Maurice asked Evie, and Evie shook his head no.
No, but you know what? Especially if somebody's going to ask me that.
Yeah.
No, I know you're weak. I'm definitely not going to check it
Well,
down.
that's a nice laydown there by Maurice. Remember, like I said, he shows the ace-9. 2, 3, 4 months ago, I think Maurice commits a lot of chips with that hand. He's really improved his game.
Yeah, definitely has.
Yeah.
Especially against the guy. I mean, I got to tell you, I really didn't think he was going to go anywhere. Evie's been showing that he's been splashing around a lot. I'm surprised Maurice threw that away.
Maurice is also the type of guy now that he can get away from overpairs. Definitely on the flop he can get away from overpairs, or at least at some point later on in the hand. He's probably still the type of guy that I'm going to call with a hand that has extreme implied odds, but I would almost rather go up against a guy like Barry Woods with a small pocket pair, because I know he's not going anywhere
Right.
basis. Never seen him lay down an overpair.
How much information do you think you're giving away when you ask somebody, when you say, hey, if I call you, can we check it down? How much information are you giving to that person? And if you were the person there and you said, okay, I'll check it down, and then later on you said, no, I won't check it down, how much information are you giving away? Think about it.
Unless you can use it kind of to your advantage, where you might say, no, I won't check it down when you actually are on a draw. Just kind of to
But the whole point, you
make
can't.
it end.
If you're on a draw, you can't check it down because you might have to bluff that.
7-7-3 here. Straddled pot, limped around, 5-way action, $200 pot. And it looks like Paul is going to lead out here with ace-3. It's the best hand. First time all night, we're about an hour and 15 minutes into the show that he's put money in the pot here.
And he's going to win this probably.
And that is probably going to kind of make him even for the night.
Yeah. You don't have to remember the blinds are only 10-20.
Yep.
The big game plays bigger, but if you don't see a lot of flops,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost you much. You wait for a big hand, and you see Paul is really in there. Last hand he played with ace-4 of hearts. This time he's in there with ace-3 of clubs. He's looking for something where he can flop the nuts.
Yep.
But you realize, obviously, if I were to say, basically the only time I would want to check it down would be when I have pretty marginal hands, right? Because if I have a monster, I'm going to want to get paid. And if I'm bluffing somebody or if I'm on a draw, I might have to bluff, and then I don't want to check it down.
And the
either.
other reason why I don't understand why people check it down on draws is because you are calling that hand to win a big pot.
Exactly.
All the implied odds go out the window. It makes no sense.
Right, if I'm going to check it down, what's the point?
Yeah.
Mike's going to make it $100 to go in the small blind with ace-10. And George is going to call. It's actually 120.
Oh, George is going to call with king-6 suited here. Again, it's kind of like, when I say kind of Mike syndrome, I don't even think George would play that hand, but he's going to call a raise from Mike because it's Mike.
Right.
Here we
Three
go,
ways
3
here.
ways.
No, and everybody misses.
Yeah.
That's a hand. And look, you can see Mike's eyebrows going up. He's kind of winking at Paul there because deuce-4 is kind of their hand. I think Mike and Paul have something going on. They kind of roll around the bed together with deuce-4s all over themselves. Scary image, I know.
And Mike tells Evie, ace-queen, is that good?
And this is one of those cases where a lot of times your opponent knows you don't have anything, but they don't have anything either.
And Evie is going to call, if he's floating off here, he has absolutely nothing. No, he's going to pop it up. He's actually going to raise. He actually made a vocal declaration to raise, put the money in, and then looks like he put about 380 more in there. Boy, this would be a really sick call if Mike continues on here with ace high.
Well, he's going to call.
Wow. Because he figures, what would EV raise with? The turn is an ace, and Mike isn't going anywhere. Mike checks, and EV moves all in. And Mike calls, EV's drawing dead.
See, and I was only curious here, what was and he's drawing dead.
Wow.
I was only wondering, yeah, and EV slams it down, but I'm only wondering, does Mike call if he misses? Let's say the turn is a 7. What happens then?
Right.
And that's what I'm curious about.
Well, you always can, figure if EV isn't the type of guy that's going to raise on a 4, Mike either feels his overcards are pure, or EV is just bluffing. And that really would have been a sick call if Mike called with ace-10 the whole way.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I really wanted to know, because obviously EV was going to move in on the turn no matter what, right? No matter what came out.
Yeah.
You just kind of wonder.
Dave, hopefully I won't play in these events, but for some reason if I do get knocked out on Saturday, of course I think PokerStars and Full Tilt are having their 150 and 100 seat guarantee on Sunday afternoons.
I'll
Are you
be
going to
playing
play
that.
You're going to play both of them or just the PokerStars?
Probably both.
Yeah. Because we both don't have a seat yet.
Don't have a seat yet. I will be getting a seat soon.
Now Maurice is going to raise it up here with ace-king. Mike makes a quick call.
Unfortunately, I actually really haven't tried to get a seat. I played one satellite to get a seat. That was it.
Or you played a little bit online too, right?
That was it. One satellite to try to get a seat.
Well, there's the ace. Ace-9-6. It's a
EV's open-ended.
$320 pot. Maurice hit the ace-king, and he checked it.
EV bets $100. Though.
Yeah, Maurice checked the ace-king. It's a rainbow board. EV bets 100. Mike is out of there.
Now, how much is EV behind?
He's down
Another 1,000.
Behind 1,000, and I think that, Maurice is check raised. And I believe that EV has moved all in over the top. Is that right? A check raise here by Maurice, and EV moves in. But the thing is, EV doesn't have that much. I can't imagine Maurice is going to get away from him.
It's an easy call. The pot is 1,600, 600 to call. You're getting almost 3-1 on your money.
Yeah.
There's just obviously you can beat Ace-Jack, you can beat Ace-Queen, you can beat Ace-10, you can beat 7-8. Just too many things you can beat here. It's only 500 more to call.
And he makes the call. Well,
Yeah.
EV's open-ended or needs a running 2 pair.
Oh.
And there it is. The turn's a 10, and he's got it. And look at that. Now Maurice has got trip aces.
And EV doubles through there. He's back up to $2,000. Just like that.
And Maurice is in shock there.
Well, it wasn't like EV was in terrible shape. Obviously, 7-8 is a lot better than Ace-Jack.
Yeah. Again, kind of giving a little bit of information there. He's checking the ace-king there on that board.
Right.
The hand would have played out the same. If he bets, EV might even have moved in. He at least would have called, I'm sure.
Not much you can do there.
Yeah.
Get an email here from Joe Mason. He says, hey, guys, I'm actually flying out to Vegas on Tuesday for an internship for school. Well, that sounds dangerous. And to play some poker. I was wondering if you guys have been playing in any side games while you're in Vegas. And if you have, where can I find some good side games at the casinos other than the obvious Rio and Bellagio? And from what I've heard, the games at the Wynn are pretty good. You can probably check out the Mirage.
It's funny. I was also thinking about possibly hopping in. Probably not this trip because this is all tournament trip, but I might want to see if I can play in that 75-150 Omaha game at the Rio. They had 3 tables going.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. Maybe at some point. Dave, we're going to have a lot of free time in between, right before the main event.
Exactly.
Limped around here pre-flop.
4, 5, 6.
6, 5, 4. Now, Maurice has got pocket nines. He didn't raise it in late position. Looks like he's going to throw a bet out and see where he's at. I don't know if EV's going to go anywhere. He's got top pair. $60 bet here by Maurice. Kirk is open-ended with the 7. And Evie is in horrible shape here.
Now, is Kirk going to go anywhere? He's open-ended with the backdoor spades. But, his open-ended straight draw is pretty obvious. If an 8 or a 3 were to come off, are you really going to make any money off anybody?
EV makes it 160 here to go. And, the problem here with 9s in a limp pot is you can almost only check call. But look at this. Maurice is going to move in. He's going to move in. I thought you'd have to play it a little bit passively. He doesn't. I guess he doesn't have that much left.
Money. And you know what? I think he thinks.
He throws more cash on the table there.
I think maybe he thinks EV has something like 7-6 or 5-7, something like that. In this case, EV's got top pair with not. He's in terrible shape.
Oh, it's in awful shape, and it's another. Looks like maybe 550. Was it 550 there?
And you can see the percentages there, and they don't add up to 100 because there's a slight chance they could tie if, say, it came out 3-7.
It's about 650 more. The pot is about I want to say it's about a $1,200 pot. Evie's getting about 2 to 1 here, Dave.
Hello, Jay.
And he's going to call on Evie in his awful shape.
Yeah, he's in really bad shape. Needs a 6.
Well, the turn is a 4.
Still needs a 6.
And the river's a 6!
Oh, that's sick.
That's so sick!
Oh, let's get a shot of Maurice here.
I think Mo already left the table. He didn't even want to look at the hand. He doesn't even know about what a brutal beat that was.
Oh, man.
He said, "Can I put the money in and leave?" And they said yes. And EV sucks out.
Oh, where is he?
Wow, maybe it was good for him that he walked away so he didn't see that beat.
Yeah, but when he comes back and he...
Oh, wow. And I think Maurice told Trish if he lost the hand to buy me in for more and gave him the cash. And Trish just gave the chip runner the cash. Wow.
5,000 behind now Maurice is going to buy in for. And I got to tell you, Maurice has got his money in with the best of it 2 times in a row here.
Yeah.
Just got sucked out both times by EV. And I got to tell you, you've got to love this game, don't you?
Yeah.
No Amir, no Allen, but EV's in there. I mean, apparently, one thing back to the World Series of Poker, the horse event, I know a couple of years ago they did show stud. I know they also showed Omaha 8 or better, and it probably didn't show as well.
Here's the thing. They never showed a split. The reason why they can't do it is because they don't show split pot games. They've shown stud high. They've shown pot limit Omaha high. They've also shown deuce to set. They've shown Raz. Now, those are all pretty much high games or whatever you want to call them, low games only. They're not split pot games.
Right.
I think the problem for them is the split pot game, explaining that to kind of the uneducated poker audience.
I mean, if you can explain Raz and you can explain Omaha High, Omaha High is probably one of the more difficult games. You must use 2 cards, all these different things.
The guy that won it a couple of years ago didn't even know how to play it.
Exactly.
Awesome. But I know what you're saying, but Raz, remember, it is only a one-sided game.
I'm with you.
They also filmed the deuce to 7 no limit Kansas City lowball game, which
Yeah.
I watched streaming. They never put it on TV though.
Right.
Did you see that episode?
I did actually. I know
Pretty
exactly what you're
entertaining,
talking
right?
about. Well, to me it is. I mean, obviously,
Just a one-draw game, like
You
it's
and
a
I
deuce
are-
to 7 no limit draw.
you and I are poker fanatics. We're gonna love it no matter what.
Right.
I just want to. I mean, the games that Doyle Brunson and Phil Ivey and Chip Reese normally play, the mixed games, those are the games I want to see them play.
Right.
I don't want to see these guys play no limit hold'em. Especially when the blinds get so big, they're just going to be playing move-in poker anyway. Oh, man, sick. Now, EV actually has over almost $3,000 now.
Now I want to address it. Got a $140 raise here, and they're going to take it down.
Yeah.
Anybody that it looks like things are running smoothly here tonight. Somebody posted up on 2+2 here. Anybody that might have tried to log in and can't necessarily get their password to work, they can email us at liveatthebike.com, and we will try to help them out.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, if you're having any problems right now, bear with us this first week as we transition over.
Yeah.
But over the long haul, this switch will definitely benefit all involved. Guarantee you that.
Well, there'll definitely be a lot more that we can give to the viewer now.
Oh, exactly. We can bring a Liz Lou in there. We can give away $500 in cash like we did last Friday. I mean, a lot of really exciting things.
Wow, look at this monster flop here for EV. Top pair and a flush draw. Jack 6-7 was limped around, 2 hearts. And Trish is going to bet 80 here with middle pair and the ace of hearts, and EV's going to raise. Now, Trish has the ace of hearts in her hand. He's going to make it 280 here.
Yeah, I think she's going to get out really quick here.
Well, you remember, you wonder, if she had something like King Jack here, would she get out? Now, normally against normal competition, she might. But remember, Evie just committed all those chips with 9-6 a couple hands ago.
Yeah, he did.
And now Maurice is trying to... Is he going to hear about the beat now?
Well, hey, he's taking it well.
Yeah.
He's taking it well. I mean, he almost assumed he was going to lose.
Yeah.
He just knew it. He's talking about the power of positive thinking.
Yeah, he nodded his head.
Got kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there where, you think you're going to fail, and you probably do.
Yeah.
And apparently positive thinking is for schmucks. That's according to Ray, of course.
King, queen of spades here for Kirk from up front. How is he going to play it, Dave? Just going to limp here? And he folds it.
Wow. It's not a hand he wants to play.
King, queen of spades. He folds it from up front.
I don't-
Mr. Tight.
Now, let me ask you this, though. If you limp in with that, remember, Mike is on the
Right.
button. Now, he's thinking ahead. If I limp in for 20, I'm going to have to play this hand for probably 120.
Yep.
Do I want to play it for 120 out of position?
Well, sometimes when Mike is in the game and he's to your left or several spots to your left, it really keeps you honest. Play good starting hands.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be limping in with suited connectors, that's for sure. Ace 9 deuce here on the flop, rainbow board. Doesn't look like it really hit anybody here.
No, that's kind of a safe flop. If there's ever a flop for, like, you know, a set or ace king where you can probably slow play it a little bit, I mean, you look at that flop, nobody's got anything.
Well, the turn's a 6. Mike picks up a club draw, and Evie's got a higher club draw.
Well, how about a club here on the river?
This
Talk
could
about
get
reverse
interesting.
implied odds.
And Evie looks like...
Oh, there it is. 8 of clubs
Oh, it
on
got
the river.
checked around, and the river is the 8 of clubs, and we got 2 flushes here.
And they are both deep.
Evie just bets a little bit here. He bets 60.
Well, the pot is only about 120,
And Mike raises to 300, and Evie's got the second nut here. Is he going to push back?
Oh, man. When we talk about this, can you push back without the nuts here? Will Mike call you with a worse hand than the nut flush?
Definitely. And he just called. Oh, he left so much money on the table. Because against Mike, I don't put him on an ace with the ace of clubs there, Dave. And Mike would have called. He would have called with the smaller flush for
You
sure.
got to start thinking it through there. Would Mike check the turn there with, say, ace 5 of clubs?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And Mike knows he is really lucky. EV really could have, and I don't think Mike is going anywhere. I just don't buy it.
that's
I
the
haven't really
question
seen
here.
Mike throw away a hand like that.
Well, that's what the question is. We always, obviously, if you want to check out our video blog, you can check it out after the show. We talk about value betting against really good players, and oftentimes, let's say you bet the king high flush there, and a very good player raises you. Is there any value to re-raising?
Right.
Because will they call you with a hand, say like the 10 high flush? But you wonder there. I mean, both players are deep. Talk about. If you really want to win in this game, you've got to maximize those wins, don't
Oh,
you?
you got to make your big hands big.
Oh, that could have been. Evie could have had $6,000 in front of him there. Who knows? He makes it $1,000 to go. Mike probably calls, right? Oh, wow. King, Jack, 8 here, a couple of diamonds. Nobody's got much of anything,
80.
and that's not going to stop George from betting $80 though. George got the classic deuce 4, but he's playing the power of position here, which is usually more important than your cards in this game. And he's going to take it down. Button moves over to seat number 6. That's Paul. Small blind's $10 in this game. That's Kirk in seat 7. Big blind is big blind's in seat number 8. That's Mo. That's $20. Barry Wood still has not joined us.
You guys got me to move from that seat. Now he's sitting over there. Yeah, because
Barry Wood's still enjoying dinner.
yeah, but Mary's not here.
Yeah, this small little dinner has turned into an hour and a half affair.
That's what I was wondering when you said 30
Yeah.
minutes. I was like, what kind of dinner? It's going to be 30 minutes.
Look at this. Evie's got pocket kings.
What, are they going for sushi and you're going to give him one roll?
I don't know.
Here, have one roll. That's it. No more.
You're last into the game, huh? You're last into the game.
And he makes it what? $70 to go? That's it?
Yep.
Wow. He's just inviting a bad beat. Paul's going to take a shot at it.
Paul's going to call here. We can't see what he has over there in seat 6.
Seat number 6, we got to see his cards.
Paul's
There
got
you
queen 9 of diamonds.
Well, not a good flop for Queen 9 and diamonds. Not really a good flop for pocket kings either,
And he
but
goes check, check. Paul's not going to bet out here on the ace. Turns a jack. Check. Now,
Paul is drawing dead.
yeah, Paul is just, he's not going to fire at. River's a 7. Check. Yeah, Paul is just going to.
Now, I'm gonna just point out this hand to illustrate something. Paul is a kind of player. He's a professional poker player, and he is playing the player.
Right.
Now, some people can say, well, couldn't he have taken that one away? Yes, probably.
Dave, if I had raised there and I checked the flop, Paul probably would have either fired on the flop or on the turn.
Definitely, because
not
what he's
against EV.
What he's trying to do against you is he's
Right.
going to try to use your tight image,
Right.
and he's going to try to take away small pots. What he's trying to do against EV is he wants to hit a monster and double up,
Yeah.
really stack EV. He's not interested in stealing small pots from EV.
Yeah.
He wants the flop to come out Queen 9 deuce, and EV not being able to get away from pocket kings pays him off to the tilt.
Pocket aces here for George Giorgio. And it looks like pocket 8s here for Kirk on the button. So you wonder how much George is going to raise it up, and how much if Kirk will call. Well, he's going to make it 200 here.
Trish has got an interesting hand in the blind. She's got 5-6 of hearts.
Now, this is a hand that, Kirk will play a pocket pair. He makes the call. I don't know how much money George would lose if it comes out rags, and Kirk shows a lot of strength here. And we are heads up. Well, one of the 8s is dead, so the chances of Kirk hitting an 8 is pretty slim.
Wow, that's a pretty ugly flop
That
for
is a
aces.
horrible
though.
flop for aces. George is just going to throw a $300 bet out there, and that is a bet you make for information against Kirk. If you get called, I think you're really screwed, because I don't think Kirk is calling a raise with ace-queen anyways.
How many times have we seen somebody kind of get scared or spooked by a flop like that and check it and then have no idea where they're at?
Yeah.
Nice bet by George there, really is. Put a little $300, let me see where I'm at bet. Obviously, Kirk going to easily fold pocket eights.
He called the raise, 200.
Once again, if you are subscribing to the show and you cannot get it, or you can't get any other show, let's say Monday's show, for example, next Monday, just make sure you're logged in. Go to the top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And put in your email address and your password, and that should do the trick. You can also refresh the screen.
And if you are having trouble tonight, just email us at Live at the Bike if you are a subscriber and you cannot get the show. But it seems like we're not really having that many problems here. Mike is going to bet 100 here on this board, 10-8 deuce with a couple diamonds. It was limped around. And Trish calls here with second pair. Now Maurice is going to check raise here with king 10. And that's probably going to get it done here, Dave.
Yeah, that really will get it done. And Trish obviously playing against her son, playing the player. Maurice figuring, well, Trish didn't raise him, so she can't be that strong. I'll take it down with top pair here. Nice strong play by Maurice. Supposedly Caesars has a pretty good poker room as well.
Yeah, but the game there was just really rocky during the day.
Obviously, for Joe Mason there, his email is answering. We don't know what game you play. But I will tell you, actually, the side games in Vegas were nothing to write home about. I'd actually say that the games are probably better on average in L.A.
Well, I know you played the 10-20 at Bellagio, and I was kind of sweating that game, but I didn't get into it last time I was there. But I really liked the 5-10 game there, even though it was 1,000 cap. And I know you don't like capped games, but I don't know if you didn't necessarily give it as much of a chance, but I think you can make a lot of money in that game.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure. Yeah. No, I'm sure there's obviously, it's probably the game that a lot of tourists want to play where they like to play big, but they don't want to play against all the pros.
Right. So my question to you was, we just spoke about this on the phone. I mean, if you want to challenge yourself, fine. I'm more in it for the money in poker. Would you rather play an easy 5-10 1,000 capped game than a tough 10-20 game?
Yeah, I mean, the 10-20 game, I wouldn't say it was tough.
Okay, I thought you had said it was tough the first time.
It was tough for the first time, but there were 2 or 3 kind of fish in the game that were enough to feed everybody else.
Yeah. 4-way action.
I mean, I still made about $2,100 in about 8 hours or 9 hours. Which
Queen 8-7 here. George has got bottom 2. He's going to come out and bet here. Now, Maurice, actually, Mo's got Queen 10. He's going to call. George bets 120. Mo calls here. I don't even know if I would get involved, Dave, with Queen 10 if George comes out and bets.
I just don't know what you're looking to hit there.
Yeah.
A lot of, I mean, you got to wonder, is George in there with 2 pairs? Does he have a bigger queen?
Maurice is out of there. Mike's going to...
Or does he have maybe a spade draw or even a straight draw?
Well,
Who
maybe
knows?
Mo's thinking he might be able to represent something here on the turn.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, there's the turns of spade. It's a bad card for George.
Really is.
But it goes check, check. Now, Mo's got the 10 of spades in his hand.
A lot of outs for him.
And the river is the king of spades. And how bad did 7-8 get there? Well, can Mo value bet here? He's got the second nut spade here, Dave.
Yeah. And he's going to value bet it. He knows he has the nuts.
He bets 120. There is nothing George can beat.
Yeah.
He gets out of there.
That's kind of a, I hope you call me. Please call me. And obviously, once the jack of spades comes out, Mo has so many outs there. He can catch a 9, a 10, a queen, a spade.
Well, I think that he can even throw a bet in there on the jack. Because, if George is coming out and betting, he's probably scared of queen jack. He's scared of a flush. If he doesn't have 2 pair, he might even have to muck king queen or ace queen in that spot. If you throw a bet out and you get Mo to call you, you got ace queen, now the turn's a jack, you check and he bets. I mean, would you get involved?
Probably not.
Have the ace of spades.
Probably not.
It's such a scary card on the turn.
It's the worst card in the deck. It really is, because if somebody had a straight draw, they got there. If somebody had a flush draw, they got there. And if somebody just had queen jack, they got there. Really nothing you can beat anymore.
Straddle pot here by Mike.
And you make Live at the Bike more money, because now if they want to see, they have to go pay the archives to watch or something.
Checked around here. Limped around.
Apparently Jeff sent an email, and he's agreeing with me. They should show the horse.
I would love to see the horse. I'm just saying that they don't have. I mean, I think they could pull that off on like a. Well, looks like King 10 a dime. King 10 with the 10 of diamonds is going to bet, and Trisha's going to throw a raise out here with Ace 10 without a diamond.
Yeah, now Evie's got a lot of outs here. He can catch a jack or a diamond.
Yeah.
But he is not going to get involved, and I don't blame him. He doesn't even know if his diamond is good.
You know, that's one way of playing it there. I'm going to throw another way you might play it there if you're Trish. She races on the flop. Now, the problem, though, is if he calls, I'm not exactly sure how she plays it. What you might be able to do, Dave, is call one time, pop a non-diamond turn card, and maybe check it down at the end. And that might be
raise a turn.
Raise a non-diamond turn card. Because even if the guy has a small flush, he can't raise you back,
No,
really.
I'm with you on that. The only problem with that play is you make the pot somewhat big.
But here, if she raises it and he calls,
Okay.
I mean, is she going to check the turn?
Well, then if she chooses to, she can check the turn. And remember, he can only bluff a certain amount on the river. Or she can maybe bet on the turn and then take the free showdown. The only problem with popping it on the turn, which is not a bad play, I don't think, but let's say he bet 150 there. She calls. Well, now the pot's almost $400. Well, now he bets 400 on the turn. Now, what are you going to make it? $1,000? $1,200?
Well, not if he comes out and bets that amount. But we weren't talking about a big pot at that point.
Right.
But I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Limped around here 4 ways. 10-6-4 here. It's a rainbow board. Actually, there's 5 people in the hand, and we got a set of 4s here for Paul.
Yep.
He's going
This
to
is
come out
what
and bet.
Paul's been waiting for, but
Fortunately, no one has anything.
nope. But he's going to make enough money on this pot to just keep it going. George puts his glasses on so
That's
he
just
can.
the Allen mimic move.
And Paul's sitting there
And
going,
Paul's
"Come on,
like, please do something.
make a move,
Yeah.
make a move. Come on, look, his eyebrows moving. Come on, kid. If you're lucky."
Paul has put money in the pot 1 time tonight. I don't even know if George knows it's his turn. No, he didn't even know it was his turn. Turn was a 7. You know, I did see an interesting. I saw one guy who was playing next to me at Caesars. He runs Premier Props online, which is if anybody knows out there, Heidi Cho, and I don't remember the guy's name. He's her partner. If anyone knows what we're talking about. He primarily plays limit.
Okay.
But he was playing a 5-10 no limit game with me at Caesars, and he made a move where basically he had kind of a top and bottom pair on a very connected board. You know, I bet out with a big draw, and he called next to act with about 5 people behind me with top
Right.
and bottom pair, waiting for a safe card on the turn, which is kind of more of a limit
pop
move.
'em.
But I think you can use it no limit to not commit that much. You know, sometimes maybe if you flop the bottom end of a straight and there's a 2 flush out there, say the flop comes 7, 8, 9, and you've got 5, 6, and there's 2 spades, might you not commit any money until you see a blank on the turn?
No, you definitely could.
Yeah.
The only problem is if your opponent out of position bets again on the turn and makes another pot-sized bet, well, now you're talking about a pretty big pot already.
This one is limped around here. Well, I'll give you an example here in a second. EV is going to bet 60 here with a 9. He didn't bet on the flop. It's the best hand. Like,
Okay.
let's say you were out of position.
Okay.
I've got 5, 6 of diamonds. and
Okay.
There's 5 people in there. It was a raise pot, or even if it wasn't a raise pot. And say,
Okay.
and say the flop comes 7, 8, 9 with 2 clubs.
Okay, and I have 5-6.
Might you check call the flop
And then lead out?
out big on the turn on a
Definitely,
blank?
that's out of position.
Yeah.
Now Trish's hand.
Let's take a look at another chip
Yeah.
count here.
Mike in the chip lead here with 7,000 in total. Wow, over 33,000 on the table now. Let's see how they're doing. Mike up almost 4,000. That's more like it. Maurice down 2,000. And you got to hand it, EV is now up 400. His stack has literally been a roller coaster all night long. We'll keep track of this throughout the evening. Yes, out of position with 5-6, that is definitely a way I might play that hand. But if I'm in position, it's a little bit different.
Right.
Okay, and the case where Trish had ace-10 there, she was in position. And I was only wondering, what do you do, though? The guy leads into you for 150. You call. Now he leads into you for 300. Now the pot is already about, if you call that, the pot is 900. Are you going to raise it? Are you prepared to raise it 900 more?
Right. George raises here and takes it down. Ace, deuce of clubs.
4-10. No, you give me 4.
I mean, waiting to raise the turn is actually a pretty strong play.
No, it is, but I mean, it's a concept that I don't necessarily know is gone over a lot in No Limit Hold'em. You always hear about in books in Limit Hold'em about waiting until the turn, for a raise or to put money in the pot and limit hold'em for a safe card. I think the same thing can sometimes happen in situations in no limit.
I happen to agree with you 100%.
Because people don't think of it as a move you can make in no limit, because you can always force somebody out in no limit because you can commit a lot of chips.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you 100%. I guess the only problem is if you're in position against somebody and you raise in position, forcing the pot to be such that now it's hard for you to get away from it, but you're only going to get played back at with a hand that beats you.
Limped around once again. Mike has been somewhat tame tonight. Hasn't really been getting much. He's got 10-3 of spades here. Kirk is going to come out and bet 80 here with Jack-9. Wow, and Mike is going to call. Again, you wonder, I'm sure Mike might represent all kinds of things against Kirk.
Well, he also knows that against Kirk, he might get 2 cards for the price of 1.
Well, George has got a just a gut shot here. It is a rainbow board. Again, I don't know who he thinks he's going to get paid off by, either Mike or Kirk. Probably not by Kirk with Jack-9. Turns an 8. Kirk is still good here.
Well, George has now got a double gutter. He can catch a 7 or a 4.
Will he make the semi-bluff bet here? Nope, he's going to take the card.
And you see, everybody gets a free card. It's one of the reasons why they call Kirk.
The river is an 8, and Kirk is good here. And he's probably still going to check it here. And now Mike has got to think that his hand is probably not good in the showdown. Is he going to try to bet Kirk off of it?
No, he's just going to give it up.
Yeah.
See, one of the problems, though, with Kirk's game, and I like Kirk's game to a degree, but I got to say, one of the problems with his game is it's so predictable that he will bet top pair. But unless his hand is super strong or unless he needs to bluff somebody, he is going to check the turn and check the river. You can often call him with just 1 pair because you know you're going to get 2 cards.
Well, the flip side of that, though, is, you're calling. I understand that. But, you have to be calling, somewhat with the idea of some implied odds in there. And I don't know how many or how much implied odds there are against Kirk.
No, I agree with you, right.
He might not call you with...
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know. He might have called Mike there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, let's say, I'm trying to think here. Let's say a 3 comes off on the river, and now Mike bets $300. Is Kirk going to call? I don't know.
Well, maybe in that case because it's Mike, but not against any other player.
No, but it gives permission. It basically gives Mike kind of the freedom to, hey, I can call a $120 flop bet because I know you're not going to bet on the turn.
Right. 6 player. Limped around here 6 ways. King,
Trip
deuce,
kings.
king here. Yeah, Trisha's got king jack. Trip kings. She checked it. Well, her son isn't in the hand. That might be one reason why you would check it over there. And doesn't look like anyone's going to take a shot at it.
No.
Turns a 5.
Well, EV has now picked up a wheel draw. If he catches a 3, I mean.
Trisha's going to come out and bet 60 here.
And is EV going to take one off here?
Well,
that's the question.
You wonder if he's going to get involved because he thinks maybe if he hits an ace, his hand's going to be good at it. No,
he doesn't call.
I assume Kirk is not going to get involved here either.
Can you be the 5?
No, right now.
He's on a spade draw. He's on a spade draw?
Everybody's telling you want my hand.
All right, then I'll let it go.
Now, the one thing with Trish is she is just as likely to play a king this way or to play, say, 10 deuce, any other hand.
King on the river there.
Wow.
Just to make quads.
Don't make me pay the 15 bucks.
So it seems like, Dave, that you and I are also going to be playing at least in the $1,000 stud high-low tournament that week.
Probably, yeah.
And hopefully the media charity event.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll both be in the main event, so I'm going to at least play 4 more events, and you're going to play probably 4 or 5 more events. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited because when I do fly back to Vegas...
Are you going to play the Raz event, too? Are you planning on doing that?
I might. I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of keeping my schedule open.
We went into this discussion, if anyone missed it yesterday, about how I think that the stud high-low event is going to be one of the jewels of the World Series of Poker. I mean, it is only a $1,000 event, but there are going to be so many people that are going to play in that event because it's the cheapest buy-in that think, oh, I played stud like at home game. I'll play stud high-low.
The only frustrating thing will be that it's only 1,000 in chips.
Right.
And because stud high-low is invariably a drawing game, it's going to be just one of those things where you're going to put your money in with a great draw and hope you get there.
Yeah.
You can start out ace deuce 5, catch a 4 right away, and just hope you catch.
Limped around here 5 ways.
And because you only have 1,000 chips, if you don't catch, you're pretty much done.
Well, especially at the second or third.
Oh, of course. But that's another tournament where I'm not going to be trying to run anybody over because I have to realize that most of these players don't know how to play very well.
Well, Paul's got deuce 4. He bets the flop, and Mike is going to check call here with a weak king. Mike did not bet the weak king, and Paul bet. The turn's a 10. Mike checks again here, and Paul's not going to fall for it. He's going to take the card. And the river's a king, and Mike checks again. And look at this. Mike saying he missed. Maybe trying to induce Paul to bet here, but Paul has a pair.
Well, that's exactly it. Mike missed. He goes,
Yeah.
okay. Mike missed. Good. I don't need to bet then.
You know what the kicker
No problem.
Yeah, he shows the deuce, and he says, you know what the kicker is. He shows the 4.
Yeah,
but
no,
usually Paul's a razor in that spot with deuce 4.
I told you, those guys, they deuce 4 for the two of them. It's kind of a special hand.
One time at least.
Yeah, it's true, but let's see 3 coming in. It's just can't.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
kind
the
of
other thing,
excited
the
about
other thing
that.
too about the stud high low is invariably towards the higher levels, it plays more of a stud high nature,
Oh, of course, but you just
like any
can't.
split pot
You
tournament.
can't afford to get in there with,
Yeah.
you can't afford to get in there with naked Raz hands. Well, I mean, naked Raz hands are bad hands in stud high
Yeah.
low anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll still take an ace 3-5 suited.
Right.
You
Oh
know?
yeah, you got. I mean, that's just as good as it's going to get for
Exactly.
hands in that game.
I mean, would I prefer to have, would I prefer to be rolled up and have pocket 3-5s? Of course.
Right. $140 raise here by Trish. And Mike is going to call, so we're heads up here. And again, you wonder if they're not going to bet against each other, why would Mike call with 6-9?
But
there
they
are
do
no
usually
implied
bet,
odds.
though. That's the thing.
Oh, Trish is going to need an ace here. It does not come.
But you do wonder, though. Because it's funny, Trish plays hard against him, and Mike doesn't play hard against her. And you kind of wonder, why would I call this?
Why would you call with the drawing hand if there aren't going to be any bets that go in there?
Exactly.
Because it's only 9 high.
Doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
But anyway, I'm really excited by the fact that my last Vegas trip, while it was a lot of fun, I went with my wife. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time. I played some cash games. I played a couple of satellites over to Rio and did pretty well in one of them. And I was kind of excited. My confidence coming back a little bit in the tournament games there. But this trip we're going on, I'm pretty much going to be in Vegas for about 2 weeks straight now, which is very exciting for me. Give me a lot of time to win my main event seat and to play some tournaments.
Maurice is going to raise this up here to 70 with ace-queen on the button. And Evie is in there with a dominated queen 10.
I mean, if it comes out queen high, we saw Maurice get away from queen high with, top pair, bad kicker. But can EV get away from queen high? Pair of queens here. No kicker.
Here we go to the flop, 3 ways. Well, Jack 8-6 here. George has hit the jack. Let's see how he's going to play it from up front.
And not really the flop you're looking for with Jack 9, but in this case, he's got the best of it.
Going to throw a little $200 bet out here into the pre-flop raiser.
This is one of those spots where I never take one off if I've got ace-queen here. There's just no point in it. If I catch my queen, I could be up against queen-jack. If I catch my ace, I could be up against ace-jack, ace-8. I just don't know what I'm looking for. And Maurice correctly throws it away. But Evie is going to call. He's got a gut shot. He
Got
needs
shot
a
to the
9.
9, yep. Here we go to the turn. Well, that 10 is actually good right now. George picks up an open-ended straight draw.
Yeah.
Is George going to bet again? He takes the card, which I think is the right play in that spot. And the river here is a 4, and this one might just get checked down. Excuse me, the EV. Obviously, the 10 improved EV's hand, but George still has the best hand here with the jack.
Yeah, well, just change a couple things. Obviously, the queen is no longer
Yeah.
good for Evie because that would have given George a straight.
And the reason why I think it's not a bad play for George to check there is because unless you're going to get a call from Evie with a smaller pair there, now he probably would have with the 10, you don't beat really any jack. Because obviously any jack that's got a higher kicker beats you, and there's also all kinds of possibilities.
Obviously, you're
Plus,
inducing a
picked
bluff.
You picked up a draw now, too.
All right.
Yeah.
And you might induce a bluff. Let's say somebody with 9-10 tries to bluff at it, but now doesn't think he has to bluff because he's got a pair. You just got to be prepared, though. If a blank comes off on the river and EV throws $200 in there, you've got to know that you induce that bluff. So is this another shirt you picked out? You got? I like it. Cool.
With the help of my friend's girlfriend.
Friend's girlfriend? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nordstrom Rack. You ever heard of that before?
I have. My dad likes that place.
Kind of like a Filene's Basement.
I was actually kind of inspired, and I went over and I picked up a couple of shirts today.
Limped around here 5 ways. Is that 8-5-5 here?
Paul's flop trips.
Now, was Paul the straddler?
Paul was the straddler.
Okay, he's straddled. That's why he's in there with that hand from up front. He's going to bet right out here. Now, is Maurice going to get involved?
Good players
pocket
will.
sixes.
Good players will almost always bet their trips right away. Almost always.
That's going to make me feel better.
Well, Maurice can catch a 6 here.
And the reason why you bet here, you get called by Maurice. And now, you hope that an undercard comes to the 6, and you hope that Maurice continues to pay off. A nice card here for Paul might be a deuce or a 3. Wow, the turn pairs 10. That is an awful card for
It
Paul.
really is. The thing I don't understand, though, if you have 6s there, remember the board is 10-5-5.
Now let's see what Maurice is going to do here.
Well, he obviously, he's going to take a shot at it, see if he can represent.
Now I've played, and look at that, I think it's going to get it where Paul just does not get involved. Now I've played with Maurice a lot, though, and there are still, I think, a little bit of leaks in his game where he might have more of a tendency to check a 10 there on the turn. I don't exactly
And
know.
look at the river. The river was a 10 as well. And actually, Maurice would have had the best hand there.
Yeah, he
would have had 10s full of 6s.
Yeah, the proper, terminology of counterfeit comes into play there for Paul's hand.
Paul plays the board.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, Mo might have a tendency. I call him Mo because that's what we call him.
Right, I know.
Maurice. It's a, we're just, making a distinction between him and Mo, the host of the
Exactly.
game. But, and there's Barry Woods. Maurice has a tendency maybe
Nice
to
to
check
join
a
us.
10.
The check a 10, right.
Yeah. Highlighted hair and all.
Does he use that spray-on hair? You ever see those infomercials?
I think I
at,
talked
like, 3
about
in the morning?
GLH, right?
Yeah,
Did you hear that when I talked about that? Or did we talk about it before?
maybe before.
I did talk about that GLH Formula number 9.
Sometimes you wonder, though, on a flop of 10-5-5, when a good player leads out, and you have 6s, what do you think he's leading out with?
Oh, of course.
I mean, I guess he could be leading out with pocket 4s or pocket 3s or pocket deuces. But do I really want to, draw a line in the sand with 6s? I mean, somebody can say, well, hey, if a 10 comes off, he can represent. Okay. And obviously, if a 6 comes off, yeah, you're probably good.
Mo's going to put a little raise in here with 7-8 of spades. Now, Evie's got king-queen suited.
Well, he's going to call at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. That's going to bring Mike in here with the Jackson 5.
Now, obviously, Mo has made like a little raise here.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
He's got Jack 5 off suit.
I thought he was going to call.
The more and more I play this game, the more and more I hate to limp in with a hand like 8-7 suited from up front. Now, Mo is raised, but it's just so hard to play out of position.
It really is.
I had this hand. I'll get to it in a second here. I'll tell you what happened.
Well,
Jack 6 deuce here. Now, is Evie going to take one off? Not a bad flop here if you're going to flop a spade draw with 7-8 of spades. And again, this is, sometimes the
Terrible
problem
flop
with
with
EV.
king-queen, though.
EV just calls.
ugh.
He's got backdoor clubs and overcards.
He's got 4 outs, really. I mean, he has the best hand,
And
but how
Mo's
does
got
he
the
know?
flush now. Mo's got the flush now. And you know what? You just keep betting for value a little bit.
Hey, I hope you guys got a jack.
Or you hope maybe he's got a high spade or something. Maybe he called me with,
Yeah, look,
king
Evie-
6 with the king of spades.
Evie checking there, make sure it was king, queen of clubs. And is he going to raise? Oh, what a bad spot to raise. Now, this puts Mo to the test here. $600 bet. Evie has raised it to the minimum, making it $1,200. The pot is now, I want to say, about $2,400.
Do you just call and check call the river? That's the issue now.
Well,
Evie is just making a play. Do you really push back? It looks like Evie's got another 2,000.
he's drawing dead here.
Yeah. I got to give credit to Evie. I haven't really seen him make a move like this. Obviously, it's an ill-timed move. Well, Mo's just going to move it all in. Well, at least Evie can now fold.
Yeah, you wonder how much play there is to that, and Evie's going to throw it away.
And this is what you were talking about similar to early in the night. By making that min raise on the turn, EV, I'm not saying he's thinking this far ahead, but he's actually only risking 600, where he can also obviously safely throw it away to a re-raise.
How is he risking 600? He had to call the original 600 and then risk 600 more. He risked 1,200.
Well, I mean, excuse me, he risked 1,200. He had 2,000 more. Obviously, it's a lot. My point is, it's the same as the check raise, though. If he was 10,000 deep, he was risking 1,200 to maybe get the guy off the hand.
Right.
That's
I
what I'm saying.
understand what you're saying. But let's say he raises on the flop. How much is he risking?
Right, but there was no flush on the flop, though.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. But let's say he raises on the flop. Let's say he thinks Mo is full of shit and he's going to raise on the flop. What is he risking? Maybe $300? Now, if Mo calls, maybe Mo checks and he changes it up. Well, Mo's picked up aces. Now, I understand what you're saying. Totally. Obviously, it's a great play to mix it up and raise on the turn. Wait till the turn to raise. But you've got to realize that you're risking more. In that case, you risked $1,200.
Now, look at this. Mo's got pocket aces here, and he's raised it up to 120.
And I believe we got a bunch of callers. Trish, Maurice, Mike, Paul. And is that going to bring Kirk in here? No, Kirk is not going to play.
Wow, Maurice is called with ace-7 offsuit here.
I mean, we're seeing this 5 ways.
Yep.
This flop comes something like 7-6 deuce. We're going to see fireworks.
$600 pot to the flop. Jack 10-3. Well, it looks like Mo has escaped right now.
A couple of pairs out there. Mike's got a pair of 10s.
He's going to bet 300 here, Dave. You know, he's going to throw a little half pot size bet out. You know, I don't mind the bet. I don't think you automatically come out and bet 600 here. You're really building yourself a huge pot with aces.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
$300 is definitely a big enough bet to get some information.
Yeah.
You can find out really quick, but Mike is going to bite.
Well, now the issue is Mike now would make this raise with Jack 10. And now Mo is moving all in. He said if you flopped it, you flopped it. And this is the reason why if Mike raises with a set or with Jack 10, he gets all of Mo's money right away.
Definitely. And that's why Mike gets so much action, because he'll make this play with 10-8. While if Kirk made this move, if Kirk is raising here, what does Kirk have minimum?
2 pair.
Minimum,
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
But Mike's making this move with second pair, no kicker. And that's the reason he gets the action
once
when he
again,
hits a
what
set.
we just talked about last hand, Mike is risking only a raise. Now Mo has committed all his chips, and Mike can now safely throw away a hand that he knows is beat.
Right.
But if he had 2 pair, he would call and he would win.
Definitely.
So it's...
No, definitely. But
Yeah.
if Mike were to wait till the turn to make that raise, he's risking more.
Right.
Okay.
And I think it disguises, I mean, it makes it seem like he has a bigger hand as well.
Of course it does, right. It's one of the reasons why you want to kind of mix up your game once in a while, especially when you're playing against the same players.
Yeah.
Mix it up to the point where, sometimes you are raising on a flop with your big hands. Sometimes you wait till the turn. Oftentimes when we recommend a certain strategy, or at least a strategy that Bart and I kind of subscribe to, it's something that I think you and I probably do 75% of the time, because there's nothing I do all the time. And I know the same thing with you. Once in a while, you do check raise with your big hands. You don't bet out with your big hands.
Ray, make 120 total.
And Evie's going to raise it up $100 with pocket jacks. Wonder if is Maurice going to call this with out of position with ace queen? Well, Kirk's going to call with pocket 4s before it even gets to him. Mo, I don't think is going to play. We haven't even seen his cards yet.
Oh, he's the J.
There it is. He's got 9-3. He's not going to call with 9-3. Maurice is going to toss in 100, and we've got a $360 pot very quickly. To the flop. And there is top set for EV.
Yeah, all spades.
Yeah, if there's ever a time where you flop a set and you don't like it, this is it. Now, Maurice has got open-ended, but he does not have a spade in his hand. Now, let's say Maurice had the ace of spades with the queen of hearts. He would have an absolute monster. Open-ended with the nut flush draw, he can go to war with that hand. In this case, though, I don't think he can go to war. Now, we get a bet. It's a $120 bet from Maurice, and Evie is going to immediately make it $500 to go.
Not a bad play here.
Well, he knows. He goes, you know what? If you flop the straight or you flop the flush draw straight, I have redraw, and I don't want to see a free card here.
Now, obviously,
I'm going to go
if
to war.
Maurice had like ace of spades, queen here, it would be a monster.
Oh, it's a monster. He can go to war. He can then re-raise them all in, and you see what happens. But in this case, Evie didn't want to see a card. Some people can say, well, you're only going to get called by a flush or a straight. But nah, you might get called by 2 pair. And you might also get called by, say, the queen. Even just the ace of spades might call. You never know. I like the play. I really do. Too many cards can come off and really scare you. Now, if the king were to come off, Maurice would have the absolute nuts. He would beat, say, pocket queens. He would have the ace-high straight. And obviously, if the 8 were to come off, he also would have it. But EV would have redraw. He could pair the board here. And I don't think Maurice can call this, and I don't think he will. And he's going to toss it in the muck. And he shows him pocket jacks. Turn was a deuce of spades. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The turn is a deuce of spades. Now, obviously, EV still would have been in the lead, but would have no idea where he's at. And looking at the river with the 5 of spades, they would have chopped it up. Both players, the flush on the board, would have played.
Is that ever a time when you get a bet by someone and you have, say, a set there, middle set or top set, and you are really deep, that you would actually wait before putting a lot of chips in, even if you're in position for a safe card on the turn, or do you just go to war with top set?
If you're extremely deep, yeah, that might be a play you want to make. You might want to see a safe card.
Yeah.
You've got to realize, obviously, like in this case, the deuce of spades comes off.
Right.
Now, let's say you have an aggressive player to your right. Now he bets on the turn.
Now
What do
you
you do?
get scared away, right?
Now you've scared yourself,
Yeah.
and he had nothing. And now you've thrown away top set
Right.
to nothing. It's a tough hand to play. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm not
Pocket jacks here for George Giorgio.
leg rub against
I mean, like I said before, I think the raise on the turn is definitely a play that should be in our arsenal, but it's something that you probably don't want to use very often.
Well, George just limped in here with jacks.
It's a dime. Look at this.
2 off the button. Wow.
One possibly throw away.
He says sometimes, he wants to just, sometimes you want to play jacks like that just to hit a set.
Oh, definitely.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-way action here. It's a $140 pot. Well, King 4-5 here with a couple of hearts.
I mean, that's the only thing, though, now that it's 7 ways. Are your jacks just check and fold?
Barry's got that open, he's got that up and down open-ended straight draw. He's going to bet 150 here.
I mean, do you just throw jacks away now, though?
I think you do, especially if somebody calls in between. Now, is he going to call with a gut shot here to the 6? Wow, he makes the call.
Now, if Evie catches a 7, it's no good.
The guy wanted folded.
And this, I assume that George's not going to get involved.
Yeah, you know what?
How that's $4,000 of my money.
And he shows Mike like it's a monster. And you know what? Jacks are just jacks. If you're going to limp in with him, which is fine, it's a fine play, but obviously the flop comes out like this, you throw it away. Evie has the best hand here with 8 high.
Well, the turn's an ace.
And how is this going to play?
Well, Barry going to continue to fire here.
I mean, the problem is there's 2 hearts out there. You're not sure, did my opponent call me with a king, or did my opponent call me with hearts? Who knows?
Betting 250.
And I think this is probably going to get it done. I don't think Evie's going to... Wow.
Wow, $250 bet and a quick call here by EB.
And if they miss, this might go check, check.
This is unbelievable. Here we go to the river. And the river's a king, and the 8 high is going to play. Barry's going to be forced to bet again here.
This is sick, but can he bet again?
This pot is about $900.
Can he bet again? I mean, if you put the guy in the nut flush draw, he got there with the ace in the turn. But he's going to bet one more time, and he takes it down.
Just a little bet there, too. And he shows the bluff. He shows the 6-3.
And
Unbelievable.
he slams the table because 8 high was good. Unbelievable hand that was. It's one of those times where, though, if you put the guy in a flush draw and you think he has the nut flush draw, when the ace comes on the turn, you got to really be concerned. Can he throw it away? Now, obviously, you can use that king on the river and represent.
Butt moves over here to seat 8. Well,
That's my last flop of the night.
limped around here. 5-way action.
Yeah. That's what good playing does for you.
Deuce 4-4 here on the flop. Again, Mike hasn't really raised a lot pre-flop. I mean, he
No.
has somewhat, but
It's like a new Mike where he's really changing gears a lot, you know?
either that, I mean, he hasn't had much, but I mean, it's
That
not
doesn't
like
usually
he,
stop
it
him,
doesn't
though.
really stop him from raising that much.
I mean, when is it like we're going, wow, Mike is really card dead. He's not playing any hands tonight. No. Usually he brings in king 8 for the raise.
George is going to bet 80 here. He's going to kind of semi-bluff here with a gut shot. He shows Barry the 6-3. That's Allen hand.
Yeah.
I mean, how perfect am I?
And obviously Allen not in this game. He went broke
I
right
got to
away.
tell you, I didn't see the hand, Dave. I actually went outside for a second today, but I heard that Barry vastly overplayed one pair against George Giorgio, like sickly for a $7,000 pot. Basically, what had happened was
And got paid off?
George got paid off. Basically, what happened was it was a limped pot. Barry had ace jack in middle position. George was up front with 6-3 in the blind. The flop came jack 6-3. George check raised. Barry was out of position. Okay. Barry bet out on the flop. George raised, and I think Barry called. Barry then bet out again on the turn. George raised, And Barry re-raised. The turn was a 3. It filled George up. And then the river was a 3, and George made quads. And George moved all in, and Barry called with the full house, jacks full of 3s. But he just unbelievably overplayed.
Right. Well, you know, those kind of players, obviously, you know, you got to realize, especially in a limped around pot, one pair is just not that strong. And Mo's going to make it 240 to go in the cutoff seat with pocket 9s. And is Trish going to call this with ace king? Trish calls it, and she checks blind with the ace king, and we're heads up here. Well, there's top set for Mo.
Wow.
Now, Mo usually likes to slow play his hands, but when he's the pre-flop raiser, he knows he almost has to bet. So he puts $300 in there. It's kind of a...
he's trying to make it look like he's overbetting, and he's induced Trish to check raise him.
Yep, there it is.
I love the overbet there, trying to get Trish to make a move there.
It's actually the underbet. The pot was $500.
I thought it was less than that.
No, he raised it 240.
All right, he just smooth called. And this pot is over 1,000 now.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, now he's made quads.
Now, Trish does not have a spade in her hand, and she is absolutely dead in the water.
And he goes check here. And the river is the ace of
Oh, wow.
spades.
Now, it's the ace of spades, though.
Yeah.
And how much? Now, Trish is probably not going to bet this, or maybe she'll bet it as a little stop bet, and she puts out about $1,000. Wow.
800 here.
800 into
$800.
about a $1,200 pot.
Yep.
So the pot is now $2,000. Obviously, Mo is going to raise. Does he just move all in and hope she has the king of spades?
Yeah,
And
he's
he
gonna push
raises. Did he move all in or just raise 2,000?
And she's out of there. You know, that's not a bad play to do there on quads on the turn. Obviously, you know, maybe if she's got the king of spades there. If she has ace king with the king of spades, what happens?
No, exactly. He's going to get all our money.
Yeah.
I don't mind the play at all by Mo. You got to realize, after there was a bet by him, remember he bet the flop and she check raised, and he bet, pre-flop he bet $240 and she called.
Yeah.
So the pot was $500. He then bets $300 on the flop. Okay,
Yeah.
so he bets 60% of the pot. She check raises him up to $700.
Yep.
So now the pot is already, actually the pot was already $1,900. So he doesn't really need to build it anymore. He can afford to check on the turn and still know he can get a lot of money on the river. Sure enough, he ended up winning about $1,900 from Trish there.
Limped around here. Four deuce 10 here with a couple hearts.
Betting 100.
Mike is going to bet out here 100. Now EV has got a 4. Barry's just got king queen, and Barry calls Mike just to call Mike here, Dave. Just to call Mike, he calls with overcards. Here we go to the turn. And the turn is a 10. Well, and Barry's going to bet again. He bets 200 again. Mike bets again, and Barry's going to fold.
Now, once again, if you're having any problems, obviously we're in a little transitional period right now. If you're having any problems, feel free to email us at live@thebike.com. That's the best way to get your problem resolved.
Butt moves over here to seat number 2, Maurice. Yes, the individual email goes a long way.
It really does, yes.
David and I cannot do anything technically. We kind of there are other people that handle that in the email department here.
Well, especially during the show and even after the show, you and I are.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like Mr.
Right.
Handy when it comes to technical things. Or at least I'm not.
Now Mo is going to bring it up here for a little raise. Pocket 6s.
Now this is the kind of thing with Mo that just kind of you wonder. He made it 240 pre-flop with pocket 9s. He makes it 80 with pocket 6s.
Barry calls with ace queen.
I mean, you really wonder. I mean, and I don't mind changing your raises a little bit, but if anybody pays attention to the way Mo plays, you can really put him on the type of hand he has based on what he's raising.
Now Maurice is going to call here with 7s.
I mean, with an $80
And
raise.
EV is going to re-raise here. He is going to re-raise with ace 8 of hearts.
How much more?
870. And I got to tell you, I think that's probably going to get it done here. I think Barry would probably call with ace king. He's not going to call with ace queen. And look at Maurice eyeing the rest of the stack there of EV, because Maurice has got a pair. And if he figures that EV is just doing this with a couple of overcards, he is obviously
Maybe you
a
can't.
little bit of favorite, but what if he's got a higher overpair?
You got to go, okay, so 50% of the time he's got ace-king or ace-queen, and the other 50% of the time he's got an overpair to me? I mean, the only time you're ever good is if EV is trying to steal with pocket fours or pocket fives. Even in this case, it's really a coin flip, isn't it? I mean, I got to tell you, you can pick a better spot than this, can't you? Now, anybody being aware, obviously, when Mo makes it $80 pre-flop, is there any way he's got aces, kings,
And there he
nines?
goes. He's going to re-raise them all in.
Wow, well, it's an
And
easy
EV's
call
going
for
to
EV.
call. Now, we know that one of the aces was dead.
EV
And
is
this is
top
going to be
mid.
like a $4,000 kind of board run here.
Unbelievable. And I don't think Maurice is going to run this more than once.
Well, I haven't talked about anything. I don't think EV really does it. Mike just looked at EV's hand. Well, here we go. And this would be a really bad beat. Well, not a really bad beat, but Maurice's, right? And there's the ace. Oh, 2 of the last 2 aces.
I just don't understand the play by Maurice, I got to tell you. Is this
Maurice-
really where you're looking to put your money in?
Maurice needs a 7 here.
It's not a tournament.
Maurice mucked his hand already. He could win with the 7. The river's a 3. Look at this. He mucked
I
his
know.
hand already. He would have won with the 7.
That would have been
Wow.
That would have been unbelievable if the 7 had come off there and his hand was already mucked. That would have been
what
absolutely sick.
He actually threw his hand in, but what had happened was, it's interesting. Anybody, this is maybe somebody can email us in who's got, familiar with casino rules, and I don't know necessarily how they would have ruled this. He basically threw his hand in, but it hit some chips that were in front of him, so it didn't hit the muck. So what does that mean? Does it mean that his hand's mucked? Does it mean it's retrievable? What does it mean?
We have great dealers here. First of all, it was a dealer mistake. Second, the hand is mucked. He should have grabbed the hand and put it in the muck.
Yeah.
And it would have been over. But in that case, the cards were not face up.
Yeah, he threw him face
I'm
down.
not sure if he would have been able to go in there and retrieve them or not because they hadn't actually hit the muck. Who knows? It would have been an interesting ruling because if the 7 had come off, I guarantee you Maurice would have gone in there grabbing and EV would have objected. But once again, I just don't understand what Maurice is trying to do there. It's not a tournament. There's no rush to accumulate chips. And I think he just thought EV was out of line there. But with pocket 7s, I mean, even pocket 10s or jacks, that gets to the point where, hey, maybe he's got ace 8 or ace 9. But even 10s or jacks, I don't know if I really want to get involved there.
Limped around here. King 6-4 on the flop. Rainbow board.
Not much of anything for anybody. And it's going to check around. We're going to see a turn. Turns a 9.
I'm not going to put him on pocket 6. I have pocket 6.
Now, Trish is open-ended. She's got 7-8.
I'm raising.
Evie's got a gut shot. And there's the 8 on the river. And I believe that's going to give Trish the hand here. Yes, that is. She makes a pair on the river, and I don't believe she's going to bet it. She's going to take it down with a pair of 8s. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen.
I'm saying ace 6. I have pocket.
You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 Pacific time.
A couple of things we were talking about before the show, some recent people that have been on Live at the Bike in the past, success. I don't know if Rika, the cocktail waitress, ever played on the show, but she actually finished 5th. Anybody who's been in the bike, Rika, the blonde hero cocktail waitress, 5th in the ladies' event. Or is it 4th?
I think 4th. $55,000. Unbelievable.
Our buddy Sparks, Hank Sparks, who used to play in the 30-60 limit game way back when we did this, he finished, I think it was either 5th or 4th in the $1,500 limit event. I think it was either event 6 or event 7.
Well, I guess things are looking up for Bicycle Casino people, huh? I hope so. Ace 9-4, couple of spades.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, Rika doesn't play that often. She doesn't play that much.
I don't know if you're 100% correct there. I think she actually
Does she?
kind of quit to start playing.
Really?
Yeah. Mike is going to throw a bet out here, so he's going to take it down. Yeah, I think she kind of got addicted to it.
Oh, okay. She
Yeah.
just kind of jumped into it and played.
Yeah, she had
the
like
full
a
nine
big score in the Sport of Kings tournament
Okay.
months back too.
now. Have you played with her? I played with her once.
I never played with her. We were talking about too. You wonder, she's attractive, she's blonde. You wonder if someone's going to take notice right away. She finished 5th.
Well, I mean, if you look at the latest, the funniest thing is, and once again, I don't bemoan this at all because I understand it's part of America.
Yeah.
And our Erica Schoenberg, who obviously a good poker player in her own right, she's got an entire article about her in the latest Card Player. You think it's because of her poker playing? Or it's the fact that she's got, green eyes and she's somewhat good looking and she's a poker player?
Barry's going to raise it up here to 220 with big slick offsuit, and he's probably going to take it down.
Pair of 4s is really not good. I didn't raise it 880. Come on.
You want this?
Yeah, and apparently right away, Mansion Poker has already, jumped on Erica Schoenberg's marketability. Selecting her as a player representative for their new international poker website.
Is it true that I heard that you had Joe Wynn in the booth here? How did that go?
Great.
Did it?
Fabulous.
Yeah?
It was actually really great. Yeah. I had him and I had Paul.
Yeah, I know.
South African
Yeah.
Paul.
This is your last night.
Yeah, Joe Wynn, he's a very, very humble guy. And anybody missed that show, I want to say, what was it, last Friday?
70. No, they don't want you playing.
And we got a $70 raise here by Maurice.
I believe it was last Friday's show with Joe Wynn.
And look at this. I mean, this is kind of the tamer Mike. He just smooth calls with 10s here to Maurice's $70 raise. Mo's in there with 3s, and it looks like...
Well, Mike might be adjusting to the table. You've got Evie, you've got Maurice in the table. Maybe he's adjusting.
Well, Maurice has hit ace-jack here. He's got trip jacks. There's 2 hearts up there. Paul's kind of got a dryish flush draw.
Is Mike going to get involved, though? Well, wait a second. Is that really a dry flush draw? I mean, he's got some sort of, 9-6. He's got kind of runner straight draws, too, right? Sort of?
It's a $140 bet. $140 bet here by Maurice. And look at this. Mike is making the min raise here with 10s.
Yeah, kind of see where he's at.
And Paul's going to call. And now let's see if Maurice is going to push here. See if he pushes over the top a little bit. And there it is.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that play at all.
Not with that board, not at all.
Yeah.
You know what? You might get action from a Jack-10. You might get action from a King-Jack.
Well, Mike plays a Jack in this manner, too. And he's not going anywhere with the Jack.
No, not at all. And that's what Mike's trying to figure out. Mike's going, wait a second. If you had a Jack, why would you play it so hard? What are you
but of
scared
course, Mike can't beat a higher overpair either.
Exactly.
1,000 more here from Maurice.
And if Maurice had, say, Ace-King of Hearts or Ace-Queen of Hearts, you're not in great shape with that either.
Yeah.
And Mike has to throw it away, especially with Paul behind him. And Paul can't call this either. Obviously, the dry flush draw, like you pointed out. For a second, I thought it was a straight flush draw, but it's not.
Not really. Plus, it's a paired board, too, Dave.
No, definitely. No, for a second, I thought it was a gut shot straight flush draw.
Yeah. And then the Ace of Hearts is no good either.
Yeah.
Dry flush draw, paired board. Yeah. So what I was going to say was I got involved with a hand this afternoon that really got me into a lot of trouble where I had limped in with 7-8 of spades. Well, there's the Ace of Hearts. So there you go. Which was no good for Paul.
Yeah, Ace of Hearts was actually a really bad card for Paul.
I limped in with 7-8 of spades from up front. Dr. Beebe had raised it to 25 under the gun, and 6 people called.
Okay.
So it was a $150 pot. The flop came out deuce, 3, 4 with 2 spades. Dr. Beebe bet 25 into the pot, into a $150 pot. And I knew as soon as that happened, I should have thrown it away because I was going to get squeezed. And I called, somebody else raised it up to 150. Then I ended up calling, and then the turn brought me a straight draw. It was a 6. So now I had even more outs, and I just kept getting involved, and it was
those
just so
hands can be
difficult.
tough to play out of position.
And what is the point of a $25 bet into 150? Sometimes I just
Sometimes people do it
Yeah.
just to get a little bit of information, Unfortunately, against a good player, you don't get any information because they're apt to make a play on you.
5-3 deuce here.
100%.
And nobody's got much of anything. You got a gut shot there for Paul. He's got 6-7. We don't have it up there yet. Maurice is going to bet it, though. Maurice has got 5-6. 6-5. We don't have it up there.
Turns a Jack. And it gets check here. Paul takes the card there with the straight draw to the 4, and now he makes a stone cold nuts. And look at this. Maurice has a higher Maurice has got a straight to the 6, but Paul's got the nuts. And Maurice checked the 6 at the end. It's a 4 of hearts on the river. He's going to check raise, and Paul's going to get all his money here.
Yeah, we talk about somebody who likes to check raise bluff, and check raise with the nuts, and he likes to check raise. Now, he does not have the nuts here. Obviously, Paul does. Oh, let's see how it plays out.
Oh, yep, he's going to raise it up here. Now the question, look at this, a check raise. It's going to make it 400 more, and Paul is staring down at the nuts right now.
Now, you got to realize, against Paul, is there any value to raising with 5-6?
Well, we went over kind of like
Yeah,
we went
look
over
at
a
this.
video blog
What,
hand
you think
today.
Paul's going to call you with an ace?
Right.
Paul's not going to call you the wheel. Paul's not going to call raise the wheel. And he's only going to smooth call with a 6. And if he has 6-7, now he's going to re-raise you. And what do you do now at 5-6?
And Paul is going to re-raise.
Uh-oh.
2,000 more. Oh,
1,500 more.
1,500 more. And Maurice, you know, he's good enough now where he can recognize the fact that he does lose 2-6-7. You wonder if Paul might have left a little money on the table.
It's just tough
Would
to-
Maurice get off of any 6 here?
Well, it's just tough now. You got to start thinking, would Paul have 6-7? That's what you got to start thinking.
Yeah.
Would he have called my bet on the flop with 6-7? And you know what? If Paul thinks somebody has a 6,
Yeah.
that's why you call with 6-7. You call for the gut shot because you have the absolute nuts, and you can get paid off. And that's the reason for it.
This would be a hell of a lay down here.
It really would. Man.
I haven't got your chips yet. They didn't teach you to keep quiet over there at that meeting? Yeah, throw me in.
And Mo's going to call here. It's a crying call.
Yeah.
And Paul's going to show him the nuts.
6 or 8?
And
Mike says 6 or an ace. Mo's not going to call here with an ace, though.
No, an ace is an easy laydown.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons when you check raise the river there with 5-6,
Yeah.
you reopen it. And you got to realize, I really think raising against a player of Paul's stature, it is a negative EV play because you've got to realize what is Paul going to call you with that you can beat.
Now, again, like I said, you can watch the video blog where I had a hand with Mo, and I think that will be up either later tonight or it's already up on the website. And, you know, I'll ask you this situation. People can watch it and they'll know what I'm talking about. If I had that situation with Paul as opposed to the situation with Mo I talked about on the video blog, should I have just called?
Probably.
Yeah. Again,
Different-
you can watch
diff-
the video blog. to
Different
figure that out.
situation, right.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially in this case, though, that hand was pretty much cut and dry. And you've got to realize that if you are raising with a 6, what is he going to call you with? If he's bluffing, he's going to throw it away. He's going to throw away an ace. He's only going to smooth call you with a 6, and he's going to raise you if he has 6-7.
5 players.
Ten, 3, 7 here with all spades. Limped around. Turns to 7. Well, George has got trip 7s here. See if he's going to bet it now in position. Open fold here by, I think it was by EV. And George did not bet with 3 7s. The river's a 4. And he just checked it the whole way down here.
Well, he let Maurice get a free draw at the spade. I'm surprised. Just kept the pot real small. Never put any money there. Get a post here on 2+2 by CCOR. And apparently it's Cody and Orlando. I'm just wondering which one it is.
Hold on for a second. I think
What?
George had King 8 there, and he won it with King High. From what I saw.
Really?
Maybe
Okay.
we can ask. Maybe we can ask what George had there at the table.
Ask Rosio there.
Yeah. Maybe someone can ask what they had at the table there. Butt moves over here to seat 9.
King high. They're going to wait until 11.
Yeah, King High won that hand.
Yeah,
That's what
King
Brian
8,
said.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it was a little bit peculiar there. Yeah.
We do apologize once again. Ronnie apparently had his retinas replaced over the weekend.
130.
Well, Kirk is going to raise it up here to 130. Well, actually, you know, yeah, he's going to raise it up to 130 with 10s, and obviously you see that he does not get any action.
No. But he's, quietly up about $300 tonight. Actually, no, he's down because he lost that race against EV. 10s
Yeah.
against Ace-7.
Straddle.
Now, the one thing about the horse event, it was kind of a joke. Do you know the first level they played Hold'em, Limit Hold'em? And I think the limits were 1,500 to 3,000. Now, I know they started with 50,000 chips, but they made the limits so high that it was like, oh,
No,
my.
that can't be in the first level, you
Well,
mean?
according to card play, that
No,
was
no,
what
because
it
I
was.
think they switch the game every half an hour or 40 minutes.
Somebody
That cannot
on
be.
2+2, let me know what the starting levels
No
were on
way.
the $50,000 horse event, or somebody can email us at live@thebike.com. I'm curious what the starting levels are. According to Card Player, they said it started out, the blinds were like, I forget exactly, but the limits were exceedingly high.
Now, we had a straddle pot here by Mike, and I don't believe that anybody raised it. And the board is Jack Deuce 8 with a couple of diamonds. Maurice is going to come out and bet here with King Jack. You can see that Kirk did not raise with Ace Queen.
Evie is going to call him with he's got a flush draw. He's got 6-9 of diamonds.
And Paul here, he's got a set. He's got bottom set, and he's going to raise it up right away.
There are a lot of draws out there. 9-10 is a straight draw. Diamonds, obviously.
I mean, look how little hands Paul played the entire night. Look how much he's up.
Paul's probably our second biggest winner tonight after Mike, and he's played maybe 4 hands all night long. And Paul is one of those guys, he will really change gears. One night he plays it like this, and one night he completely mixes it up. He really changes his game a lot.
Plays it like laggy.
Oh, yeah. It's really hard to know exactly which Paul you're playing against on any given night.
Maurice is going to get away from it here.
And I don't think EV's going to call either.
So to answer Cody/Orlando's question,
And the turn was the ace, and the river was a 7. Wouldn't have changed anything.
I'm playing in my kind of final Omaha event tomorrow, the final Omaha event. Flying out tomorrow morning. Did not cash in the first 2 events. Paid $10,000 to play the second Omaha event, even though it was a $5,000 tournament. No, I won't go into it.
Did you go in?
There's enough written about
When
it.
you were by yourself, did you talk about it at all? Address it?
Yes, yeah.
You did, okay.
Yeah,
Because we really felt bad for you here. We
Yeah,
really
what are you
did.
gonna do?
I felt so bad for you, man.
You know, you were the first person I called, and I said, what do you think I should do? I called you immediately, right, when I found
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
You were still at your friend's house.
Yeah.
You called me, and I was just, literally, my heart just sunk. I
Yeah.
just felt so bad for you. I was like, oh, my God. That is sickening.
And I had a little glimmer of hope when I got to the Rio here. Limped around here once again. Again, Mike is not raising much pre-flop. But the game is still played pretty big, though.
It has.
Yeah.
It really has.
Barrett's going to just take a shot at it here with ace high.
And I think Mike is just trying to get a big hand here and get paid off by players like, like a guy like EV maybe.
Yeah, and this is kind of one of Maurice's kind of leaks a little bit. Once he loses, he kind of starts to play way, way too many hands.
Hand like Jack
Yeah,
4 off
Jack
suit
4
out of
off,
position.
yeah.
Even in position.
Well, he
who
was
cares?
on the button.
But who cares? Jack 4 off suit.
And obviously, he had the best hand, and he's just not going to get involved with it.
Right.
Like I said, I kind of went into this in depth about this right after it happened, but I thought there was a chance that I would have gone to the Rio and just kind of get laughed away, like at the cage,
Right.
and not really even have talked to anybody. I mean, if there's any consolation, I've had conversations about my situation with the director of poker for Harris Entertainment, which is a pretty big corporate position. I mean, he runs circuit events.
Yeah.
He is the director of poker.
He's the man.
Yeah.
Now I'm just curious. Now I know they kind of came with the resolution, but they said they couldn't do anything for you in this case.
Yeah.
But they would try to make it up to you, try to do something for you in the future. Did they come up with anything? I mean, are they giving you free rooms? Are they giving you free meals?
He
I
didn't
don't
necessarily say that they were going to do anything for me. I called him back and I said, can you bring it up sometime in the department meeting? And he said that he would. I have not heard back from him.
Well, all spades here, 6-5-3. Maurice has got the 8 of spades. Now, Evie has the best hand of 9s.
Yeah.
Not a real good flop for pocket 9s, though. And he is going to bet when it gets checked to him. He bets $110. And he's going to take it down with 2 9s. I mean, that would be nice if Harrows came out and at least something along the lines of gave you, 7 free nights at their hotel. Maybe a free meal. Maybe come to you a full weekend where you could come with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever you might come with or go with.
My gay dog.
Exactly. You could bring my gay dog.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Pocket queens here for Kirk. Is he going to raise it up here or just limp in? Yeah, just a limp here. Again, for a guy like that, it might be better just for him to do that. He might not even pull the limp re-raise, but if he ever raises, he's just not going to get any action.
Well, if Mike were to raise, he would. Look
Yeah.
at this. Mike does not raise on the button with Jack 10.
Yeah.
Jack 9, sorry.
Jack 9, yeah.
Unbelievable, though. I mean, Mike is just playing it so passive tonight.
Well, there's the overcard, and I guess Kirk is just not going to get involved. Looks like he's got the best hand, though, with queens. And George is going to come out and bet here with Jack Deuce, just a stone cold bluff, and that's going to, unless Mike is going to, Mike's not going to get involved here with the gut shot.
Well, I mean, George is betting into the whole entire field here, and he's
Yeah.
got bottom pair, but to bet into 5 players,
Yeah.
obviously showing some strength there.
Got about 20 minutes left of the show.
When he raised you, I said, wow, either he had 4 9s or he just made aces 4. That's he wasn't raising you that much with a king 9.
Button moves over to seat number 5. Yeah, and see, the one thing about Kirk's game is he has no problem with that. He'll limp in with queens, and if he misses, okay, throws it away. Now, the only thing I wonder is if the flop were to come out, say, 9-9 deuce, and Mike made trip 9s, is Kirk going to pay him off the whole way?
Well, whenever you say it's Mike, yeah, it's tough because
Yeah.
it always changes everything. Probably not to anybody else, but
Right. Although tonight, Mike really hasn't gotten out of line at all.
Limps in again here with Queen 8 of clubs. I mean, obviously these aren't necessarily raising hands, but for Mike, he's raised with a lot less.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a raising hand for Mike in the cutoff spot.
Cutoff. And Kirk is going to raise it up here. Well, he's going to raise it with Ace Jack of clubs here.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen Mike play like this.
Yeah.
Normally, I love playing after the show because Mike makes the game so great. But if Mike's going to play like this, hey, I'm not sure if the game is so good.
Well, Mike is going to call Kirk in position. And his hands are his cards are alive here, but his clubs are dominated. So here we go to the flop. Well, King 3-8, and Mike actually has the best hand here, and Kirk checks. Let's see what Mike is going to do. Does he think Kirk is sandbagging something?
Well, Kirk's either got pocket kings here or nothing at all.
Well, and then look at this. Mike checks, and Kirk picks up the ace, and now he's going to come out and bet.
And he bets $500.
Yeah.
And Mike is drawing dead. Oh, not dead. I'm sorry. He can catch an 8 or a queen.
But he's not going to get involved.
I'm really surprised he didn't take a shot at that on the flop.
Look at that. The river is a queen. Mike would have made 2 pair.
Yeah.
Again, though, Mike, you look at it, for some reason, if you were in there with Queen 8 against Kirk, and Kirk fires big again on the river, Mike is probably going to call. But I would almost give the advice that it's probably not necessarily the right call the way that hand played out.
No, probably not. He probably has pocket kings.
Or ace-king, maybe? Something like that.
But I got to tell you, if Kirk checks to me, the whole point of me calling a bet on Kirk in position is the fact that Kirk is not going to play the hand that strong.
Yeah, maybe he had jacks or queens, right?
I'm going to see if I can take it away from him. In that case, he had ace-jack. Could have had ace-queen. Who knows? Yeah. But all I know is he either loved the flop or didn't like it at all.
And Mike has limped in again here with, is it pocket 10s or 9-10?
It's 9-10.
Okay.
Offsuit.
A little difficulty with it. We've kind of got new hole card cameras in there. That C4 card.
It's
Mike
almost,
gets in there.
And it's almost like a fishtail with our cameras now.
Yeah. Queen 8 here on the flop.
It's a cruel joke there. Mike had Queen 8 last hand.
You're right, I do, but I don't pay you off. I don't pay you off.
Well, Kirk didn't have ace-queen, though. I think that Kirk told Mike that he had ace-queen.
Right.
Turns at 3. River's a 9.
And I believe Mike is back into the best hand here, hasn't he?
Yeah. Actually, Maurice has made a straight.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Going to bet here. I assume that Mike is probably going to call. It's a $100 bet. I can't imagine how you would ever raise here.
Raise?
Yeah, he's going to call.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like he was getting raising.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what is he doing?
I mean, it's almost like not even a... Well, he backs into it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Mike play it so passively.
Yeah, maybe he just felt, before coming in here tonight, he said, I'm just going to change it up today.
Yeah.
Barry Woods.
Nice email here from William Frick. Thanks for the email and thanks for the shout out.
Haven't heard Barry Woods talk to Kirk at all tonight. Haven't heard Barry Woods really talk.
This
is at the table.
It's almost like this strange aura over the game. You wonder. I mean, Mike is like not playing like Mike. You wouldn't even know Barry's in the game. You think he's still at dinner.
Yeah, now we get some emails about force levels.
Oh, there you go. Because levels 100, 200 blinds with a 200, 400 limit. Thank you very much, Kevin. Still pretty, I mean, not high, but I always get a little frustrated when, they're giving you more chips, but they just raise the levels higher.
Yeah. That's like the $5,000 event. They actually skip the first level.
Yeah, well, in the main event, they do that as well. They skip the first level. They make it 25-50 right away. It's like, no, the whole point of me paying more money and getting more chips is I want more play.
Right. Button moves over here to Mo and seat 8. So I'm like pulling I'm flying in Southwest. I've never done like the whole check-in. I've actually only really flown without baggage like once. I'm going to pull tonight the check-in.
Are you flying out of Burbank or?
No, on LAX. I'm going to park my car for $8 a day there.
It's nothing.
And look at this. Mike is going to raise it this time with 6-4 spades. But look at George. He's got pocket kings. And Barry Woods has got ace-queen. And George is just going to call. He's just going to smooth call Mike, and that's going to bring Barry Woods in here.
Well, is Barry going to raise this out of the blinds?
Well, now Kirk is going to call with deuces.
Well, that's what I mean. Is Barry going to make it like 500 to go and try to pick up the dead money?
Yeah, it's a very difficult hand to play out of position, but he might with ace-queen.
Well, it looks like he's just going to call. Well, let's see.
Oh, George knows he wants a raise here.
And he is going to raise.
Yeah.
Look at that. He makes it 300 more. He's going
Now,
to try to
if
pick the dead money
Mike
up.
doesn't call, can George just smooth call? Well, now that Mike calls, I think George is going to need to repop it here, right?
Oh, it's definitely a repop, in
Yeah.
this case. I mean, there's already, you got to think about it, there's an $80 raise,
Yeah.
4 ways, now the $300 re-raise, you're talking about a $950 pot already, $960 pot.
1240 when George calls plus this. How much more is he going to make it? It looks like he's going to push.
Yeah, somebody's got aces, they got aces. God bless you.
Yeah. So
And now-
1240 plus how much?
Okay, so it's $1,200 more, and the pot's about $1,200. So it's a,
1,500 more, so it's about $2,700 pot, 1,500 to go to call.
okay, so you're not quite getting 2 to 1 on your money here. If you put him on kings or queens, can you call with ace queen? But he's not going to. Mike obviously not going to call this, and George is going to pick himself up some money.
Yeah, that looks like maybe 1,800 there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a little bit more.
Nice raise there, George. Oh, nice call. It's 6 high. What the hell
So, anyways,
is opening here?
I'm
5, 6, or
pulling the check-in online tonight. Don't
Right.
bring any baggage and just literally get there like a half an hour beforehand. Walk right through security and board the
Yeah,
plane.
it shouldn't be a big deal at all. I mean,
Yeah.
LAX obviously a little tougher than Burbank. You might
Right.
want to get there, say, 45 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Learn how to play poker. Learn how to play poker. You talk
And
about
finally, we start hearing something from Barry and Mike. Okay, it's more like it.
never ever talked about Paul's race.
All Paul talks about Mike's race.
Yeah, get it right. Whatever. Same thing. Nice raise.
George said he was upset that I was commentating tonight because he wanted a piece of me after I won a couple $1,000 off of him today in the span of about half an hour. 3 big wins. Big bluff.
Five players.
5-way action here. Limped around here, or just a little bit of a raise?
It was a straddle
Yeah,
pot.
straddle pop by Mike, it looked like. Yeah.
So it's $200.
Well, most flopped. He's got middle set here. Gets checked to him, and he's going to bet.
Well, with that board, I guess, and he's in position, I think he has to.
But again, no one really has much, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah. Nope. Mike not going to get involved. Got an email here from Chris out of Wisconsin. Says, hey, man, what a great week, especially for Bart. But my comment is this. How sweet would it be if Doyle won the $50,000 horse event? And I got to agree with you. I actually kind of rooting for Chip Reese as well, 2 of the older guys that have been around for a while.
Shit hands, will you? Yeah, shit hands like this for you.
Got an email here from Ken Scher expressing his disappointment over the show going to a pay service. Well, I've gotten several emails like that. I'm not going to hide it, but I think that people have to realize that this was kind of the whole plan all along when we first started this project way back when. Limped around here. Ace, King, Jack, Rainbow. Turn is a 7.
George has got the best hand here. He's got a pair of 7s. And he's going to take this one down. Nobody's going to bet. And look at this. I mean, Mike is just like, I've never seen Mike play this passive.
Yeah,
Ever.
incredible.
Spoiled brat?
There have been some emails that have come in and said, you guys are being so greedy. How could you be sticking it to the viewers and such like that?
Right.
And, I just think that they have to understand that there's got to be some sort of return on, there's a lot of money put up for this project.
Right, exactly.
Way back when, in January of 2005.
Another
There we
chip
go.
count
Let's
here.
take a look at the chip count.
Over $33,000 on the table. Paul in the chip lead now. Mo at 6,100. Maurice is bringing up the rear. He's only got $900. He rebought $5,000.
Wow.
Wow. Let's see how they're doing. Yeah, Maurice is down $6K. Ooh,
Unbelievable.
not a very good day for him. Now Mo is up 4,000. Mike up 2,500. Paul quietly up 1,600. EV amazingly is even,
Yep.
and that is going to be the final chip count of the night.
Check around.
Well, I think a lot of people, and I understand obviously if you're getting something for free for a year and a half, you object when you suddenly have to pay for something.
Right.
I think part of the reason obviously is we're looking at it. We really wanted to be able to give more to the people that are paying.
Right.
And this is going to enable us to be able to do that. Also, I think people incorrectly thought this was a bicycle casino project. And it's actually not.
It's not a bicycle casino project. And I think people, that aren't necessarily familiar with how online, businesses and companies work realize that this isn't the type of project that can generate all of its revenues for, say, pop-up advertising.
Right, exactly.
You need to
Well,
have
pop-up advertising.
tens and hundreds of thousands of hits on your website a day to really bring in the type of revenue with that.
Just the shirt, yeah. It's not.
And while our show is obviously growing in popularity and hopefully grows in the future,
Yeah.
We are not at the point where we're getting 10, 20, 30,000 hits.
Right.
What are you doing? 100. Okay, 100 small.
But like I said, fortunately, what this is going to be able to do is this is going to be able to bring us in, the Liz Lou's.
Right.
And bring in people like that and be able to give away $500 in promotions and a guest commentator promotion where we're giving away $500 there as well.
Looks like Mo raised it up with Ace-King and Barry call with Ace-9. He's dominated here. Is he going to get involved? Mo's going to make a little continuation bet.
Well, that's not the flop you're looking for with Ace-9 of clubs, is it?
Mo bets 150 here. Well, Barry calls. How much is he going to get involved? And Mike has got a little wheel draw over there. He's going to call.
Well, if a deuce comes off, he knows he can get paid.
Might he try to represent spades as well? Now, Mo has the ace of spades in his hand. The turn's a 6. Ace
now
is still good here.
Mike's open-ended now, though. He can catch a 7 or a deuce.
Mo bets 300. Can Barry continue to call here with Ace-9? Come on, Barry.
You are so sweet. I just want to go over and kiss your bald head. It's your turn, bud. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I forgot to raise him or not. Just have an ace, like ace 9, ace jack, something like that?
Pretty much, Mike. And look at this. He calls again. And Mike calls once again.
Easy call for Mike. And
Now,
if
if
a
the
deuce or
river-
7 come off.
If the river's a 4, do you value bet here if you're Mo again on the river?
Yeah, yes, I do.
You do.
Yes, I
The
do.
river pairs the board here. You make a value bet.
Yes, I think so. I don't, well, you never
Pot
know,
is
but
$1,500, and the river is a 4. Let's
There
see
you
what he
go.
does.
I
How
think he's
much?
definitely going to put a little value. He puts.
Oh, 300. Well, that's like a blocker bet is what that
Yeah,
is.
that
That's
is
not a
no-
value bet.
Well, it's going to get a call.
Yeah, it's going to get a call.
And I don't think Mike can bluff 2 players. I don't think he's going to try to represent the 4, is he? He's thinking, can I represent
Yeah,
the 4?
but remember, he's got Barry in the hand as well.
Nah, he's not going to get involved.
I think Mike can throw. I think Mo really left some money on the table. He throw up maybe $8 to $1,000 and still gets a call here.
Yeah, I was going to actually say, yeah, probably 800 would probably be a perfect bet there. I think it's a clear value bet because you got to start thinking about it. Could Mike be in there with a 4? I guess he could. But is he going to call 2 streets with just 1 pair? With like 5-4? It's more likely that he has spades or he's got some sort of draw.
Yeah,
some sort of
I
wheel
don't
draw.
buy the 4. And then if he made 2 pair like with 6-4, you would have heard from him on the turn.
Yeah,
he's not going to overcall twice. I mean, this is not the old Mike. This is the new improved.
Yeah,
Mike.
I just don't buy that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he can think, well, if I hit my 4, maybe I can win big. But okay, so you're calling 2 streets for what is pretty much a 2-outer. And Mo wins himself a big pot, and Mo has continued to be the big winner tonight. He is up over 5,000 tonight.
Good for Mo. Limped around here once again. Pre-flop. Not a lot of pre-flop raising.
What are these dealers doing?
Oh, Mike's got a top pair here.
Yeah, Mike's got top pair.
Now, Mo comes out and bets with middle pair, and Barry calls with middle pair.
It really puts Mike in a tough spot because Mike's sitting there going, well, I got top pair, but you got a bet and a call, but the call from Barry means nothing, does it?
It doesn't really mean anything. You're right.
And now it looks like I think Mike's going to raise, and he does. He's going to make it $370.
And the great thing here is if Mo folds, let's see if Barry calls though. Look at this, Barry calls, and Barry is in horrible shape.
The pot is quickly $800.
Turns a 9. Now Mike's got top 2.
Well, that doesn't change anything. Barry's still going to need a 7 or a queen to win this pot. 2 pair makes it look prettier, but it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, Barry's out of there. Does not get.
And the river was a 5 of spades. Wouldn't have changed anything.
And again, I actually told Liz Lou this, and I was a little bit surprised that she got mixed up with Barry Woods in that hand with aces on Wednesday. Barry comes here. I think he knows how to play poker properly, but all he wants to do is bust Mike. He wants to play against Mike. That night, Barry wanted to beat Liz Lou just to do it. He's not a professional poker player. That's what he wanted. That was what his goal was.
I think he always feels like a lot of times he feels like the professionals, like a Michael Mizrachi and the grinders on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Kenneth James.
Right.
He always feels these guys are going to come in and try to run the game over.
Right.
And Barry loves to get, kind of stand up and stand up to that Liz Lou or the Kenneth James.
Right.
I mean, his most memorable hands has been with the Grinder, Kenna James, Liz Lou now, and Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the players he likes to mix it up with.
Well, now old Mike, he's going to raise it up to 100 here with King 6.
Well, Barry's in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
He wants to
and
play.
Barry calls with Jack 10, and Mike's going to make the continuation bet. $150 bet. Mike says he's got Ace Jack.
Really? Ace is higher than 10? Yes. Ace is higher. Why did somebody tell me I wouldn't be playing
that? 5 on the turn.
Rattle.
Apparently, Ray is gloating about some baseball game that was in July. What the hell is the significance of a baseball game that's in July?
Barry wants his outfit back there.
Straddle pod here for Maurice.
And now he wants it back.
I keep doing me shit hands.
There.
Yeah, right. No, it's right there. I went to the gym yesterday and I haven't worked out.
This is going to be the last hand of the night here, Dave.
This is it, huh?
Hopefully I'll have a joyous time in Vegas tomorrow.
They laughed that you did it before. Can you do it for me again? That was me impersonating you.
I'll tell you the truth. All of which, the truth is she has a gas earring and a laugh.
Limped around here. 3 ways.
6-5-3 rainbow.
Well, Maurice has got top pair with the deuce. Trish
How about Trish got a straight?
Trish flopped a straight, and she did not bet. And Maurice is going to bet. That's 80. Harry's got a 3. Is he going to call? Nope. See what Trish is going to do here. Just a call.
Well, she probably called.
That Barry would have made 2 pair.
Maybe she leads out here. No, she checks again.
Maurice is going to keep betting.
Yeah. Maybe put her on, say, a 4. Put her on just a 4, like ace 4 or something like that.
He bets 120 now.
And now she's going to check raise. And she makes it 200 more.
Yep. Probably a pretty easy lay down here for Maurice.
Yeah, that's a real easy lay down. I mean, she's got minimum here 2 pair, and she might have flopped a straight. You never know. I mean, this guy's got pair 5s, and I think it's an easy lay down. And he's thinking about it, but I can't imagine he's really thinking about this, is he? Unless he's tilting.
No,
he's in for it away.
Yeah, he's had a really bad night tonight.
Oh, that's going to do it, huh?
Yeah, that's going to do it for us tonight. So hopefully you will not have me here on Monday.
You won't be here, man. No way. No way you're going to be here.
Hopefully not. Thank you for joining us. Again, that video blog, I believe, is up on the website, or it will be up very shortly. So have a good weekend, everybody. For Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
See you guys on Monday.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.